Hello my friends, I am Ventox, your resident Danganronpa 2 addict. Apparently I've been missing out on the FGO Lotto event that's going on right now, so that feels great. We're gonna be doing Danganronpa 2 though. We're not doing Lotto, I'm not doing FGO, I've got a narrative to finish, I've got a murder to solve, so that is what we're doing today. Maybe I'll jump into some Lotto event stuff a little bit like later this week, we shall see, but for right now my focus is squarely on Danganronpa 2 because we are fast approaching the end of it. I assume there's going to be 6 chapters. There were 6 chapters in the first game. This game is very much trying to draw distinct parallels between the first game and the second game, and the UI seems to indicate that there's going to be 6 chapters as well. So we'll see where that ends up, but for right now, focus on today. We have a murder to solve, specifically the murder of our good friend Nagito, a very gruesome and grisly one, no less. So as we open here, we are at the, what is this? The warehouse storage room of the plushie factory on the 5th island, where Nagito was found dead. The setup for this was basically that we were introduced to this new island, and we're all starting to like look for a way out, whatever. Nagito shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, I hid bombs everywhere, and the whole island is gonna blow up unless the traitors gonna come forward and reveal themselves to me. I'm gonna sit here in the restaurant on the first island and wait for them to show up by myself alone," which first of all just seems like a bad plan. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm in the wrong here, but I feel like that's just setting himself up to get murdered. Then, after that doesn't work, he's like, "Yeah, I moved the bombs, and I put them in a place that everyone's already been to. But you only have a few hours, so go at it." So they all run around and try and find it, and Fuyuhiko finds the bombs, quote-unquote, on a truck inside the plushie factory. And there's a laptop there where there's a video playing of Nagito being like, "Ah ha ha, I got you, you found it, and you can only disarm it by having the traitor scan their e-handbook. But I already know who the traitor is, but this is just a way to reveal it." And then Chiaki, she scans it and then it doesn't go off, and she's like, "Well, I guess I'm not the traitor," and we're all like, "Yeah, we kind of figured that, thanks Chiaki." And then the truck runs out of gas and the bomb goes off and it kills everyone on the island. Oh no, just kidding. It wasn't a bomb, it was fireworks, and several hundred pounds of fireworks go off and it doesn't cause any damage whatsoever. And then another video goes off where Nagito's like, "Well, that didn't work, did it? That sucks. Anyway, I'm in the next room over, so do you want to just come over and talk to me?" And so we go over there, and then the place is on fire, so we go and try to set the fire out, but it doesn't work. We grab all these little fire grenades, and they don't put the fire out, and we're like, "Oh no, guess Nagito's gonna burn and die. Oh well." And then the sprinklers go off because Monokuma's all about safety, I guess. And he then gives us a Monokuma theater to be like, "I need a way to transition from the fire burning to the fire not burning." So we cut out and jump an indeterminate amount of time forward. And then we walk in, and the curtain that was right here is all burned away. And Nagito is dead. And he's been murdered in the most gruesome and grisly way possible, and we have to figure out how. I've been watching a lot of Jenny Nicholson videos lately, and I feel like her speech pattern is rubbing off on me right now. So that's where we're at. There's a lot of questions, a lot of ambiguity. My first thought is, it feels weird to me that Nagito's body isn't burned. I guess the fire didn't really spread too much back here, so that's probably why. But he's still, like, not at all impacted by the fire. So the real question that is gonna underlie this entire investigation phase is, How complicit was Nagito in the events of his own demise? Was he 0% complicit in this, and he's just a victim that someone came out and murdered? Was he 100% complicit in this, and did he do this like self-sacrifice to try to become a beacon of hope somehow? Or did he start setting up some shenanigans and then the murderer got to him and is using that as a cover for themselves? I don't know. We're gonna figure that out, I suppose. But for right now, the most suspicious figures are gonna be, to me, Fuyuhiko, because he was the one who got here to this island in the first place. And he was the one who would stand to be in a position to find Nagito, murder him, and set this whole thing up, including messing with the fire grenades and messing with the fire extinguishers that were supposed to have been there. So Fuyuhiko is sus. Sonya is also a little bit sus because, like, she immediately thought, hang on, these aren't bombs, they're fireworks. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe she thoroughly inspected the place before when we were investigating the island. That's valid, I guess, but it's still a little weird that she was so insistent on checking the military base when we're like, hey, Sonya, we found the bombs, we found the thing that's gonna blow us up and kill everybody. So that's a little suspicious. And then I need to review my notes to see who was assigned the fourth island. I don't remember who was assigned the fourth island. Me? Oh, okay, well that doesn't help, does it? I was gonna say whoever was on the fourth island is suspicious because they, would be in a position to find the spear that was kept inside the church. But I don't think we're about to go with a Hajime murdered Nagito thing, even though it would be fully within his rights to do so after everything that he's been put through. Like, I wouldn't be upset if that was the direction that the story went, but I feel like it'd be pretty hard to justify that narratively. So really, these two over here are my big suspects. So let's go ahead and just review the information that we have so far from the Monokuma file. Nagito is the victim. The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. So that's important because that would indicate that he died while everyone was together. Which is possible still. It is possible there's someone else on this island who murdered Nagito, and none of the people here are involved. However, the structure of the class trial is gonna kinda dictate that we pin it on somebody that we are aware of existing. Now, maybe I'm gonna have a chance to just pin it on Monami. I don't know. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there's a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. So this is something that he could do himself. Suicide is not out of the question here. Cuts up his legs, stabs himself through the stomach, and then while he's bleeding out, stabs himself through the other hand and leaves this hand free. I don't think that's the case, but it is possible. Why are his thighs stabbed? To stop him from running away? Why the spear? Why the stab through the hand? Did that happen post-mortem? Probably not. Because if we expect that his time of death is noon sharp, the fireworks went off slightly before noon, and everybody was together from that time until the discovery of the body. So if his death was due to the actual stabbing and the wounds and the blood loss, then that kind of just flat rules out everybody who is still alive to our knowledge. Now, it's possible that he was in this state before and was alive this whole time and died due to smoke inhalation. It explicitly does not state what his cause of death was. It only states what his time of death was. So it's possible that he died to the smoke inhalation and someone else set this fire. I find it noteworthy, however, that we can actually see the lighter right here. So, like, I'm gonna check that as my first investigation, I think. So let's get the notes out of the way for now. Would Monokuma give a file if the case involved someone who wasn't a participant of the killing game? Yes-ish. If we take the first game as an example, I'm not necessarily saying it's someone who wasn't a participant of the killing game, but rather someone who is not evidently, currently, a participant in the game. In the first Danganronpa game, he gave a file for the 5th murder, which did not really adhere to our current understanding of things, and also did not have a victim who was a known participant in the game, nor was the culprit at that time a known participant in the game, as far as the in-canon characters are concerned. Furthermore, in that case, it was basically impossible for them to even have an understanding of what was going on with the true culprit of that one, because they had been introduced to a character as a different character, so they had never had a possibility of putting these things together in the first place. So there's some wishy-washiness that's possible here. At the end of the day, the culprit is somebody who we have been in some way introduced to, but is it necessarily one of the surviving characters that we are currently aware of? Not necessarily. Ah, this is an oil lighter. This is where the curtains would have been hanging. It also looks like the fire did extensive damage here. If the oil lighter was placed here...
Just kidding.
Ah, an oil lighter. Someone probably wanted to keep warm.
Bring it on.
Is a most foolish thought. This is clearly the cause of the fire. Okay. Guess that leaves room for the Byakuya theory then. That's exactly where I'm going with this, Luigi, is the Byakuya culprit theory is still on the table. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and actually start taking notes. An oil lighter was found on the floor near the curtain line. Hey, what's up, Vacuum? Good to see you. Happy Sunday.
Well?
Oil lighters can continue to burn even after someone lets go of them.
Which means?
So using that, the curtain was set on fire. Using the oil lighter, huh? Do you think the killer set up some sort of trick with it? I am not aware of a lighter being able to still be burning after you let go of it. Oh, I guess those like flip lighters that have the lid that you'd like starve them of the oxygen. Okay. So.
You are right.
The killer probably planned to destroy evidence by setting this warehouse on fire. They caused a fire to destroy evidence. That's the only reason I can think of why a killer would set fire to their crime scene, but... Yo, this track slaps, though. I am really here for this track. This might be my favorite track in the Danganronpa series so far. It looks like this is what caused the fire. Alright. Next, let's take a look at the grenades. Looks like a bunch of plastic bottles. Remnants of plastic are scattered all over the place. This is probably... those fire grenades that we used to put out the fire. Well, they weren't actually that useful in the end. You know, this is to my benefit since I took a 2-day break in between the daily life phase and the investigation phase, but if I had just been sitting down and playing this straight through, there would have been like a 5-minute interval between these cutscenes being repeated. The fire was only extinguished thanks to the sprinklers. Well, nevertheless, the evidence really isn't all that strange. Okay. Now, this Monokuma plushie with the hole in it is interesting. This makes me think that, like, maybe he was holding the plushie and someone stabbed through him, through both of them? However, it's weird that we'd have blood on the front side of this. Well, unless he was holding it to him, which is possible, I suppose. Let's check what everyone has to say. It mattered for Gundam's killing and for Mikan's. But it looks like it's different this time. It doesn't matter this time. What doesn't matter?
So...
The time! Looks like the time doesn't matter. It was clearly written in the Monokuma file. The time of death was noon sharp. If it was at noon, what were we doing at that time? What were we doing? Well, right now it's time. It's 12:30. So it also has a clock function. And that means that Nagito died 30 minutes ago. Huh? It happened that recently. He's totally a fresh kill. Fresh seems like a bad word to describe it. If it happened 30 minutes ago, was it around the time we were struggling with the bombs? You're right, those fake bombs were originally supposed to explode at noon.
All right!
Which means whoever doesn't have an alibi for that time is Nagito's killer. But this could be like when Nekomaru died. The killer could have also used some kind of automatic setup. Also, the crime looks very detailed, so they would have needed time to prepare.
All right!
And whoever doesn't have an alibi before we found the bombs is suspicious.
Huh?
Wait, none of us have an alibi for that time. That's when we all split up to search for the bombs. Yeah, that's the problem. So the thing is, if this is a parallel to the first game, which I highly suspect it's going to be, then I'm gonna have to do some real out-of-the-box thinking if I'm gonna solve this on my own, because I'm still proud of the theory that I ended up with at the end of Chapter 5 in the first game. Byakuya culprit theory, I think, made a lot of sense. It happened to be wrong, but it put all of the evidence together in a pretty good way. It's just that I got new evidence after the fact that contradicted that, so we'll see how it ends up this time around.
So just as I thought.
If only everyone could go home. Nothing would make me happier. No, we should finish the class trial, then we can think about what will happen after. At least Akane is trying to use her brain right now. Akane is not, like, stupid. I think Akane is maybe not the brightest tool in the brightest bulb in the box, the sharpest tool in the shed. I almost got my metaphors confused. But I don't think that she's completely idiotic, and I think that she has a lot of sharp senses and intuition. She's had a lot of times where she's shown her senses, especially, like, she's the first one to pick up on a lot of cues. She doesn't put the information together necessarily right away, but she picks up on things.
Like,
I'm not freaking out about it like Kazuichi, but I definitely can't stop thinking about it. When the Monokuma timer reaches 0 2 days from now, what's gonna happen? Huh? What's gonna happen?
that's obviously
This
wrong.
rotten school trip is gonna end, right? We can finally go back home.
Jeez.
Carefree till the end. Does that mean you don't think that'll happen?
Yeah.
Monokuma might be planning to make us do something after the countdown ends.
Hey,
What do you mean, something?
shut up!
He's
Shut
making
up!
us kill each other, you know? What could be worse than that?
Damn it!
I don't know. But this is Monokuma we're talking about, you know? There's no way this will end smoothly with a countdown. Anyway, like you said before, if we screw up here, it's the end for us. For now, let's focus on the investigation. We'll think about the countdown after we live through the class trial. Yeah, I know. Then don't bring up strange stuff like that. Chiaki, what do you have to say? You're the one who I'm most interested in here. Your role in the overall narrative is very, very interesting to me because you're really taking on a lead detective role, and that's suspicious. But I think we've already gotten an explicit confirmation that you can't be the traitor unless Nagito was bluffing. So I don't know what Chiaki is up to here. She looks like she's deep in thought while staring at the ceiling. What happened? Is there something strange about the ceiling?
Yep.
Yeah, about that sprinkler. That's one of the sprinkler heads that activated to put out the fire. You can see a girder next to it, right? There.
See?
Oh, so I was right, that is blood. I brought this up at the end of the last episode. The girder has a streak of blood on it. But it's really faint. Can you see that red streak? That looks pink to me, Chiaki. Huh? You're right, I definitely see it. It looks like a small red line on the ceiling girder.
Perhaps.
Is that blood? Blood? The color definitely looks like blood, but there's no way blood could get up there, right? Plus, it's in a straight line. The photo doesn't really give us a whole lot, but I'll just remove the notes for your sake. Yeah, there's blood there. So that's interesting. That's why I've been staring at it. I think it's strange. It's definitely strange. I should remember this. Blood on the girder in a straight line makes me think maybe the rope that should be attached to the harpoon. That's what that makes me think. I don't really know how this would line up, though. One of us killed Nagito in such a cruel way. It's too bizarre. I can't do anything except laugh. Alright, let's check the plushie. Monokuma's dead! There's blood coming out of his stomach! Oh no! Hey. No response. He's dead, Jim. Just kidding! I'm not dead! Is this one of the life-size plushies that were being produced at the factory? If you're mistaking a plushie for me, then there's something wrong with you. You're a stuffed animal too.
Hey!
Don't put oversized garbage there. It's so misleading.
What the heck?
What are you calling oversized garbage? Could this be one of Monokuma's tricks? Then why'd he do it? Making a hole like it got stabbed and going to the trouble of dirtying the hole with blood. Did he try to imitate Nagito's body or something?
What are you saying?
I had nothing to do with that. Huh?
You're so evil.
He's probably lying. Seriously, you're always lying. You should just die like that plushie over there.
What's this?
You seem more pissed than usual these days, Monami, but you better watch what you say. If I feel like it, I can wipe you out easily, you know. I won't give in to your threats. I'll fight you until the very end.
I can't lose.
I will definitely take back the seat of world supremacy from Monokuma. Looks like those annoyances are gone. If it wasn't Monokuma's trick, then who did this? Could the killer have done this? If so, is this Nagito's blood? I have no idea how this connects to the incident. What? I don't think I have, like, stuff. Okay, here, I have a pillow. Hold up. I need visual references. Look. Trying my best not to knock over my green screen. Okay. So, here's what I'm thinking. I have this pillow, right? I have Star Wars print on this side and a flat blueprint on this side, all right? So here's what I'm thinking. If we say that this is the front side of the Monokuma plushie, like here's his head, here's his face, here's, you know, the hole in the stomach, here's his belly button. What I'm thinking is that he was maybe holding it to him like this when he got stabbed. And so if he gets stabbed through the stomach and it stabs him like straight through this way, that's how we end up with the hole covered in blood right here, right where Obi-Wan Kenobi is. So that's my current immediate speculation. We'll see if I have cause to doubt that in the future. If you need a visual reference, bust out Miss Paint again. There's actually a game called Miss Paint, which I highly recommend. It is a kind of lateral thinking puzzle game, which is currently out as a demo. And it is a game that was made by a bunch of troll-level creators in the Super Mario Maker circle. It's pretty cool. Go check it out. I hate it when I get stabbed in the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Don't we all, man? Alright, so let me check the text on these truth bullets that I've gotten. A faint red line was on the ceiling girder inside the goods warehouse. That doesn't really help. A life-size Monokuma plushie that was found on the floor near the fire's origin point. It has a huge bloody hole in its stomach as if it was stabbed. So we don't have confirmation that it is necessarily Nagito's blood. I think that's just about everything that I can examine in here except for Nagito's body. So here we go. Now we arrive at the main course. I never expected Nagito to die like this. He was always spouting, oh, I just noticed that his hands and legs are bound to support beams, so no, never mind. This actually explicitly could not have been completely self-directed. He was always spouting nonsense about hope and trying to confuse the hell out of us. But even so, dying like this is just too cruel. Also, he wasn't completely useless. There were times we were only able to reach the truth because of him. But everything good and bad about him is gone. We'll never be confused by him again. We'll never be saved by him again. No, now isn't the time to think about unnecessary things. I need to focus on the investigation right now. For now, I need to investigate everything about this body that catches my eye. Alright, well, first thing I want to check is this face. He must have been in great pain. He clearly had this agonizing look on his face when he died. His mouth is covered with duct tape. Was this to keep Nagito from screaming for help? Alright. So... notes. Begin.
This is bad.
Jeez, what a horrible look on his face. The blood splattered all over it doesn't help either. I'm gonna just move that a little bit away. It's a good thing his mouth is covered with duct tape, otherwise I wouldn't be able to look at him. Got a minute? Sorry, excuse me. Chiaki moved past Kazuichimi and squatted down next to Nagito's face. And in one swift movement, she ripped the duct tape off his mouth. Ow. Hey, what are you doing?
It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine. I'll put it back right away once I'm done investigating here.
Hey, hey, hey!
Putting the tape back isn't the issue, you ungrateful swine! You're gonna get cursed!
The blood on Nagito's face. It looks like it mostly came from the slice on his left arm. If that's the case.
Man.
Okay. It's no use, she's not listening.
Hey.
Hey, about the blood splattered on his face. There's no blood under the duct tape.
Okay. That is where I thought we were going with this. What's wrong with that?
Well,
This duct tape has crinkles, like it was sticking towards the inside of his mouth, right? Nagito was probably desperately moving his mouth under the duct tape.
Seriously, what's wrong with that? She means Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he got those wounds all over his body. So he tried to shout, which caused the duct tape to get sucked into his mouth a bit. But what's wrong with that? Is that something we really need to worry about? I don't really get it, but just put the duct tape back on his mouth already.
yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, this might be some kind of clue too. I should remember it. So he was abducted? It really is a perplexing case so far. Let's check the knife. The knife stabbed through Nagito's right hand. Did the killer do this? How could they do something so cruel?
This knife. It must be from the military base.
Military base? Ah, now that you mention it, you're right. It looks like a survival knife.
Well,
By the way, it seems the wounds on his legs and left arm were caused by that same knife.
Which means after the killer was finished stabbing Nagito's legs and arm, he stabbed the knife through his right hand?
it cannot be.
And then, they finished him off with the spear.
How cruel.
Then does that mean the killer went to the trouble of using two weapons, a knife and a spear? Yo, what's up, Ziggy? Happy Sunday. But they could have just killed him by stabbing him with the knife. Why did they need to use a spear at all?
You are right.
That is definitely strange. Was there a reason they had to use it?
A reason they had to use the spear, huh? I'm really not getting any ideas so far. There's still a lot of investigating to do, but like... I think we can pretty safely assume almost nothing at this point, honestly. Nagito was probably here in this building, tied up and bound for a while. But why the spear? Why the knife? Why the plushie? How the fire? That's the big thing. The fire is my big question, because if it weren't for the fire specifically, then one could just kind of assume that whoever, like Fuyuhiko, for example, Fuyuhiko just didn't go to the 5th island and grabbed Nagito and pulled him over here and abducted him and killed him and then faked the whole thing. But the fire starting exactly when it did is what's so suspicious, because the fire starting, I guess, could maybe somehow be arranged to trigger when the door opens. The door did have some resistance, right? Oh yeah, the hymnal too. The door was barred, yeah, so inside the warehouse that Nagito had left the video message for, the door was barred, so Akane had to like bash it open. The lights were off, and there was a hymnal playing. Then the room was lit on fire. So maybe there's some way that the killer arranged it such that the fire starts when the door opens, but then that begs the question, how would the killer get out without doing that? Oh yeah, the notes are vital. My notes are 100% mandatory for me figuring anything out. So maybe that's not the case. And if that's not the case, then are we to assume that Nagito lit the fire himself? Probably not, because his hands are bound. And like, I can't imagine with one hand a knife stabbed through it into the concrete and your other hand, you know, tied up to a support beam that you'd be able to fish out a lighter, flick it on, and then toss it to the curtain. So I don't see Nagito as having been the one who did this, who lit the fire. Which circles us back to, how would the killer get the fire to light right at the time it did? And the evidence seems to indicate that there wasn't like, for a second I had considered maybe like one of those good old-fashioned like oil trail or like gunpowder trails where you light it like a cartoon and then it just kind of like snakes down for dramatic timing. But the lighter was found directly underneath the curtain line, so that does not appear to be sensible. Well, let's keep looking, but right now I'm really struggling to come up with anything. Also, goddamn, Nagito got legs for days. Look at the size of this man's right leg. The spear with a flashy ornament on it is impaled deeply into Nagito's stomach.
There's no way around it. That looks like the fatal wound.
What's this?
Oh my! What's this? Such a strange looking spear, isn't it? A cord extends from the tip of the handle, and there's an iron weight attached to it.
Phew.
I see. You use the cord as a whip to capture the enemy and deliver the final blow with the spear.
Is this your first time looking at this too?
Of course not. This is the Spear of Gungnir. Right?
You definitely just came up with that now. I appreciate the consistency. If I am not mistaken, we also used Norse mythology as our reference point for the spears that killed Junko at the beginning of Danganronpa 1, so I appreciate that through line with Monokuma.
Hey! By the way, I wanted to ask you, where did that spear come from?
Um,
I feel like I saw it at Nezumi Castle. What? Nezumi Castle?
What the hell?
I was designed to be afraid of mice, so I can't go in there. Damn you, mice! Damn you all to hell! I see. Even he doesn't know what's inside that castle. Alright. Monokuma definitely seems to be genuine in saying he never went into the castle and didn't know about the spears, and therefore the password. So yeah, we definitely actually can take him at his word that he doesn't know how to get into Hope's Peak. Well, more importantly, I need to focus on the investigation. The spear definitely catches my eye, but the weight at the end of the cord coming out of the handle. Looks like that part has blood on it too. But for some reason, this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. Okay, so it looks like a spot that someone would be holding it, probably? Maybe? I'm gonna shift this section of my notes down since it's not really relevant to the actual investigation. Spear has a long cord attached to the handle. At the end of the cord is an iron weight. A few inches from the weight is a spot that is not covered in blood, unlike its surroundings. It's about the size of a human fist. It's strange that this section of the cord doesn't have blood on it. Okay, I'm gonna just note is a spot about the size of a fist. Also, Chiaki mentioned this earlier, but apparently that spear came from Nezumi Castle. It might be better if I confirm that later. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna confirm that. Spear of Gungnir, sure. Alright. Let's check. I can't really check the wound, so I guess I'll check his other hand now. There's a cut on his upper left arm. His legs and right hand have stab wounds, but this looks like a slice. Oops. Legs and right hand have stabs. That's probably the reason the wound on his left arm doesn't look that deep compared to his other wounds. Well, regardless, it doesn't change the fact that it's a hideous wound and there's blood everywhere.
Super difficult.
There's something strange. Strange? What?
See?
Look at the palm of his left hand. I think that blood is from when his left arm was sliced, but doesn't the blood spatter look strange? It cuts off right in the middle of his palm. Okay. Yeah, it definitely cuts off. Maybe that's as far as the blood could reach when it was splattered. Well, that would explain the blood on his palm, but there's something else that's strange? When you flip it over and look at the back of his hand,
Well,
here there's also blood, but only above the middle joint of each finger. Oh, interesting. Okay, so his hand is curled like this, then. So it seems to be leading us to believe that he is holding... Here, I've got an empty water... Oh, you know what? This is probably a little bit more fitting. This dice box, which holds very, very pretty dice in it. I'm just going to show them off real quick.
This is apropos of nothing, but I just really like these dice. This light doesn't catch it super well, and also my green screen is having some problems. There we go. It's got this like blue, crystal-y kind of geode effect in it. It's really nice. I like it a lot. Anyway, so let's pretend this is the spear and the cable. It seems to indicate that he's holding it like this, and blood gets like this on it. Maybe we're gonna find something else and it's not the spear that he was holding, but somehow, some way, he's holding something like this, and that's how he gets blood on his hands. Oh, notes. God, I wish there were a more intuitive way for me to change that. There we go. So there's your visual aid. You're right, why is it only on this part?
See, it's just as I said, right? It's strange, right? I win.
Yeah, sure, you win. Oh, Chiaki, never change. But it's definitely strange. What did the killer do to make blood splatter like this? Really bad nail painting job, yeah. Someone just really messed up their manicure. Alright, and finally, the biggest question mark here is why is he stabbed so many times in his legs? Is this just a revenge thing? Is this just a hatred thing? Or is this purposeful? Both of Nagito's legs are tied up. Each rope is tied to the pillars nearby. He wouldn't have been able to move at all. I haven't written it down anywhere, so I'm just gonna write in my notes real quick. His legs and left arm are tied to support pillars. According to the Monokuma file, the wounds on his legs are all stab wounds. Does that mean the killer didn't just tie up Nagito, they also stabbed his legs? Why would the killer do something like that?
Damn it!
At any rate, it's pretty sadistic. The killer must have been holding a huge grudge toward him. Or they might have been torturing him. Torture?
Huh?
I mean, if they just wanted to kill him, they could have just stabbed him once in the chest, right? If you disregard the spear in his chest, the other wounds were inflicted for reasons other than killing. Which means the wounds all over Nagito's body were from the killer torturing him? If that's the case, what was the killer trying to make Nagito confess? Was it something that would have led to the traitor?
Even so.
Well, even if it was torture, there's no doubt that the killer must have held a deep grudge toward Nagito,
Damn it!
refusing to let him die easily. I can totally understand a dark impulse like that. But even if they held a grudge against him, would they really have gone this far? Torture wounds. Alright. Do I have anything else? Oh, burnt rope. That's relevant. Nagito's right wrist is tied with rope, but it looks like the tip of that rope burned off. Could this be a result of the fire? But that's weird. If the rope is burned off like this, why are Nagito's clothes completely unaffected by the fire when he's so close to the blaze? That's what I'm talking about. This is my biggest question mark of the whole thing is, why is he so pristine? If he wasn't actually in the fire, I mean, so I guess the back end of the room didn't really get hit by the fire as much. So maybe that's just it. I don't know. It's weird. Guess I'm done with the area surrounding Nagito's body. Can't believe I investigated such a grisly-looking body. Even I'm surprised at myself. Does this mean I'm used to it? My classmate's dead body is right in front of me, and one of my peers is the killer responsible. And I have to investigate his death so I can find his killer. Am I used to something as abnormal as that? That would mean I'm becoming abnormal too. Now then, I guess that's enough investigating the area behind the curtain. So, there's been a through line for this whole game of the Wizard of Oz. And I don't know if that's like a deliberate theme that I'm supposed to be picking up on right here, but like, I am definitely paying attention to the man behind the curtain right now. And I don't know if I'm supposed to take anything from that. You mean all twice that it's happened? There's also, no, I was thinking very early on there was Alice in Wonderland. That was what it was. There was some references to Alice in Wonderland that I started thinking of as theme, and I think I conflated the two of them in my mind. Because yeah, there's the Wizard of Monami, and then there's this whole behind the curtain thing. If there was a third incident, then maybe I could have pulled something together, but no, actually, now that I think about it, I'm remembering Alice in Wonderland. So, never mind, I take it back, I'm dumb. The killer's goal wasn't just killing Nagito, there should have been another reason as well. I mean, technically those stories are early isekai, technically. There's also a Tin Man, that is true. That is true. But who's the lion? So let's think here. We have the Cowardly Lion, we have the Tin Man, we have the Scarecrow. What was the Alice in Wonderland reference? I do not remember. It was something like very early on, like chapter 1. I want to say it had something to do with Sonia, but I don't remember for sure. Yeah, I don't know if there's a good parallel for the Cowardly Lion or the Scarecrow. I guess we could say Kazuichi if he only had a brain. He probably wouldn't open his mouth so much. I don't know, maybe I'll re-watch all of my streams and then do some crackpot theory about drawing parallels between Wizard of Oz and Danganronpa 2. The killer's goal wasn't just killing Nagito, there should have been another reason as well. If not, they wouldn't have gone to the trouble of tying him with a rope and covering his mouth with duct tape. Not just that, there's no reason to inflict any wounds other than the fatal one. So what was the reason? Looks like I'd better investigate other areas to figure that out. Alright, I should try investigating the other areas inside the warehouse first. I love how flat Nagito is. Just a straight up cartoon, like, steamroller over him. Maybe Gundam is the Wicked Witch of the West because his hamsters could be the equivalent of the flying monkeys? I don't know if I could call that. If only because I think of the Wicked Witch of the West as like our final villain, I would think that we'd have to assume that the Wicked Witch of the West is, you know, the one stopping us from getting home. You know what? I mean, like, Wizard of Oz, the whole thing, like, Dorothy shows up here in the Land of Oz and her whole goal is just to get home. And the whole journey is just her being able to do that. I guess that would kind of line up with being abducted here and, like, just wanting to get off the island. There's something I need to ask her about. Now that we've pretty much finished investigating Nagito's body, I think it's time to talk to her. Hey, Sonia, do you have a minute? Yes, I'm interested with where this is gonna go as well. Yes? What is it? I wanted to talk to you about when that fake bomb Nagito set in the warehouse exploded. Huh? Right before it exploded, you said something like this, right? It is all right. It is not a bomb. Why did you know the bombs were a fake? Well... That's not all either. When we were looking for the bombs, why were you at the military base? I thought you were supposed to be searching the central island. Plus, when I called for you, you didn't come to the factory right away. Where were you and what were you doing during that time?
Oh my! It cannot be!
Do you suspect me? It is a misunderstanding. I am not the killer.
I actually believe you, Sonia. I just think you know more than you're letting on.
Jesus! Shit! You son of a bitch! Sonia?
I am sorry!
I am terribly sorry. I was panicking.
Man, foul-mouthed Sonia. I can't believe we have to cancel the Princess of Novoselic.
I shall calm down and explain to you why I was at the military base.
I really wish her voice actress had done that line, by the way.
When I first explored the final island, I discovered a vast amount of bombs there.
Huh?
Well?
At first, I was worried that someone might use them for nefarious reasons if I announced it to everyone. So I kept silent the whole time.
Does that mean when you heard Nagito planted bombs, you got suspicious and went to investigate them?
That is.
And as I suspected, the bombs had disappeared. I thoroughly searched for them inside the military base, but the bombs were nowhere to be found.
And because you were searching them, you were late when we all gathered.
Please listen.
And because of that, I reached a conclusion. The bombs Nagito brought were from the military base, which means they were fake bombs.
How did you find out that the bombs at the military base were fake?
Because I attempted to use one of them.
What?
I see.
Are you the one who... Huh. I wonder if she's the one who blew up the door to Nezumi Castle.
I thought one of the bombs would be strong enough to blast open the door to the ancient ruin. At the time, I still believed the bombs were real, and I thought I could use them to gain entrance to the ancient ruin.
Oh no, so she actually went to the ancient ruin. I was thinking maybe she went to
That
the,
plan was an utter failure.
she went to the castle to test it out before she tested it here, just in case it failed and she got shot, but I guess not. Hello, Manami, how are you doing?
The bomb was not real. It was merely a fireworks display. God damn it! All to hell!
I see. So that's why you're the only one who knew the bombs at the military base were fake.
You know what, I'm satisfied.
I did. As did Manami as well. She was also secretly peeking at the bomb. Which means...
So, we're gonna add here. Man, I just need to like pop this down somewhere very far away. Manami was also aware of the bombs being fake. Sonia knew because she took one and tested it on the ancient ruins door. I don't know that the Manami knowing about it reveal matters to me right now. Because I don't remember her reacting to the whole bomb thing. Nah, the only note that I have about Manami since Chapter 5 is this. That and her important thing getting stolen. Let's not forget about the important thing getting stolen. Did I write down what the important thing was? I didn't, but I seem to remember it was like a box that was pink and sparkly? Something pink and sparkly. Or something sparkly, maybe. What was Manami's important thing? That has to have something to do with this case, I would imagine.
If those bombs are the same ones that disappeared, it would mean that Nagito took them. That is why I knew it was a fake. However, I did think it was strange when Nagito blew up the hotel lobby. That bomb was real, and I could not stop thinking about it. But upon further reflection, that might have been Nagito's plan all along. He showed us a real bomb to make us believe that the bombs he set were real as well.
If so, then Nagito's actions were extremely calculated. But the problem is his reason for doing it.
With this, I have explained everything.
Do you have a minute?
There should be no more reason for you to doubt me.
You're right, I got it. Okay.
Jeez.
We'll think about the countdown after we live through the class trial. Well, even though I did say I was gonna friggin' kill him,
Hey, hey, hey!
there's no way I would have actually done it. I was just upset, you know? It mattered for Gundam's killing from Econs, but it looks like time doesn't matter this time. Yeah.
Looks like this site is completely soaked because of the sprinkler. Even if there was an important clue here, we might not be able to notice it.
But it's better than the warehouse burning to the ground. Good thing we were able to put out the fire.
Hey.
There was a lot of smoke. It's a good thing we didn't go inside when we were throwing the grenades.
You are right.
I agree. If we did, we would have all been caught by the sprinklers and become all wet and soggy. Miss Sonia's all wet. She's all drenched and soggy.
Hey!
You were thinking that, huh?
Of course not!
I wasn't thinking that at all.
Say what?
Why are you responding, Kazuichi? I was asking Hajime.
Whoa!
You're screwing with me? Oh my, screwing? How lewd.
Hey!
Please don't look at me with such fearful eyes. I only imagined it for a second. Kazuichi, you should probably just keep your mouth shut already. And we circle right back to if he only had a brain, he would not be opening his mouth so much. That is literally a line in The Wizard of Oz. There's plenty of people without brains who talk. Okay, so the MP3 player. This is an MP3 player. There's even a speaker plugged into it. But why is this here?
Maybe...
It looks like that weird music was playing from there. You know, that music was blaring when the fire started. Yeah, you're right. Looks like it's busted from getting drenched by the sprinklers. There's no mistaking it, that music was playing from that MP3 player. I don't disagree with that, but why was the killer playing music from this? Okay, music like a hymnal. He's playing from an MP3 player plugged into a speaker in the front half of the warehouse. What purpose does this serve? See if there's anything else for me to examine in here. There are a lot of tipped over Monokuma panels. The panel near the curtain in the back is tipped over and burned. Did the fire do that? But why are they scattered like this? The last time I came here, I seem to recall they should have been neatly put away. Yeah, I was wondering that. Yeah, so everything is definitely pointing to the curtain is where the fire started, and it didn't really spread too far from the curtain.
Maybe we're the ones who made this mess?
Huh?
See?
Look, the tipped over panel by the entrance is really close to the door, right? So maybe the reason these panels are tipped over is...
Okay, so we're saying that's what barricaded the door. I guess that makes sense. Though in a weird way, why would the killer domino effect the panels barricading the door? Okay. Well, no.
Could it be... Was that it?
Well,
And there's something else I've been wondering.
hey.
These Monokuma panels are tipped over starting from the entrance to the back of the warehouse, right? They seem to be lying on top of each other, in a straight line.
Yeah, compared to the other tipped over panels, that line is the only one that's neat and orderly.
So,
Isn't this clearly strange?
Strange, that means we can speculate this was done intentionally. This is turning into a locked room puzzle, which I like a lot. I was able to find some clues, but there are still so many things that I don't understand.
hold it.
You look worried.
Yeah, I am.
Well,
At a time like this, it might be good if you broaden your investigation range.
You mean it's good to investigate other places as well? She might be right. There are several things I've been wondering about this besides the crime scene. The military base that Sonia mentioned, the plushie factory next door, Nezumi Castle where the spear originally came from. And Nagito's room, too. If I'm gonna understand the reason for his actions, I need to know more about him.
I'm pretty sure the others have already finished investigating.
Can you hear me?
Hey, you guys. Isn't it about time we leave this place and try exploring other areas too?
In response to Chiaki, the others gathered around her.
I see.
I agree. I was just thinking about proceeding to another area. It seems we have the same idea.
But is it safe? There won't be anyone to guard the crime scene.
Yep.
We don't have a choice. There just aren't enough of us. Besides, we've investigated all we can here.
I guess you're right.
See?
Also, it looks like the clues we found aren't enough to piece this incident together. So we need to search for them in other areas. Probably. Well, alternatively, if there aren't any clues in other areas either, we'd have to give up completely.
You don't really need to say that.
Hey!
Then it's okay if we leave this place? It's okay. Well, hang on, I still want to look around a little bit. In order to survive, there's no other way except to do it. In order to survive, we need to find Nagito's killer. If we don't sacrifice that person, nobody can survive. That's our reality. That's why there's no time for us to stand around. No, I want to stand around. I need to examine things a little bit more closely. Can I go back? Okay, good. So... Oh, hi, Akane. You had the same idea? What happened? Didn't you go to investigate somewhere else? There's something at the back of my mind. I'm feeling unsure about something. What is it? Didn't I just say it's at the back of my mind? That's why I can't explain it. The sound and smells when we went inside here, it's just not clear. She's the type to have something on her mind because of her gut feeling, huh? Akane's gut feeling. Previously, that feeling of hers helped us find a lot of things by accident. It's almost like some kind of feral instinct. I mean, yeah, it's like I said like 20 minutes ago. I think Akane is not dumb. She has a really, really good intuition, and she picks up on very, very subtle things. So what is it that you're picking up on? The smell and the sounds. Tons of books. There are a bunch of books stacked on top of each other. Apparently they contain Monokuma's poetry and photos. Sprinklers completely soaked them. I can't even turn the pages anymore. Well, it's not like I'm missing much. Tons of CDs. All these CDs, they're all copies of Monokuma's music. These should have been burned too. Akane has zero emotional intelligence. To be fair to Akane, she also grew up in a heavily abusive household and probably had to learn some pretty extreme coping mechanisms. The fact that she turned out as good as she did is honestly very remarkable and speaks to the quality of her character. Okay. So how do I reconcile this? This might be the key to my locked room. What I'm thinking here is we have this line of panels, right? And let's say that... Gosh, I'm gonna have a hard time visualizing this one. Let's say that this, my cell phone here, is our front door to the thing, right? And let's say that this is a Monokuma panel, alright? So, we prop this up like so, and then have it set such that there's another line of panels going back, and then as soon as the door is forced open, this knocks the panels down, domino effect goes, and at the very end, that triggers, or rather, at the very end is the lighter that is already lit and sitting there, and that knocks the lighter over and causes it to start the fire. So that's how we remotely begin the fire. The question still remains, how do we get out of the room with that already being set? Perhaps the killer could have like set it up so they could just like sneak like really, really shimmy their way through a very, very narrow gap in the door. That doesn't sound right, though, because when Akane tried to push the door open, she tried to open it slowly and gingerly, and it didn't even open like that. So that wouldn't work. I think I might have solved the MP3 player, though. This might be here to mask Nagito's screams. Because Nagito, he's got duct tape over his mouth, but we've already concluded that he was, like, screaming. He was making noises. So he's probably sitting there going, but, like, someone screaming at the top of their lungs, if they cannot actually get air flowing, you can't really scream that loud. Yeah, like, that's me trying to scream. And I can't even, like, get a decent decibel count. I don't even know if the mic is picking that up. But the MP3 player playing music probably just completely masks that. So that's probably what that's for. Chat, clip that. Please don't clip that. Oh good, it did pick up on the mic. The event is experienced being gagged, I see. I'm going to just let you guys imagine what you're going to imagine on that one. So what that leads me to conclude then is that Nagito's probably been here for a hot minute. It can't have been more than a couple of hours. So he must have been abducted and dragged here in between everyone scattering from the restaurant and everyone arriving to the warehouse. All right, time for me to start putting a timeline together. So, I'm just gonna speculatively say 9 a.m. Everyone leaves the restaurant and goes to their individual islands. Sometime between 9 a.m. and I'll say let's say 11:30 a.m. Let's say no, let's make it earlier than that. Let's say at 11 a.m. Fuyuhiko leaves, discovers truck, and leaves the 5th island to grab Hajime. Now I had some notes here. He asked me to tell Sonia and Chiaki while he told Kazuichi and Akane. So, from 11 a.m. to 11:20 a.m., why not? Hajime informs Chiaki on the 3rd island, then goes to the central island, then to the military base. Simultaneously, Fuyuhiko informs Akane. Where's Akane? Akane's on the 1st island, I think. Yeah. Akane on the 1st island, and Kazuichi, by process of elimination, 2nd island? Yeah. 11:30 a.m. Everyone arrives at the warehouse, except Sonia. (11:45 a.m.) Fireworks go off prematurely. 11:50 a.m. The group enters the... Actually, let me change this from warehouse to factory. The group enters the warehouse and the fire starts. 11:50 to 12 o'clock a.m. The group gathers fire grenades and extinguishes fire. 12 noon. Nagito dies. And then 12:10-ish. I'll just say 12:10. The fire is out and the body is destroyed. So this is kind of what we're working with here in terms of our timeline. How goes Super Murderous Teen 2 Bad Timing Boogaloo? I'm liking this case a lot so far. Obviously, I don't know what the answer is, and it's gonna change how I perceive the case once I find out who the killer is and what the methodology was, but like, so far, I'm very perplexed. I have no idea what's going on, but I feel like there's a lot of clues, and I feel like if I can just piece them together, then I can solve it. I'm really, really liking the setup on this one, whereas I did not like the setup in Chapter 4. So, I'm liking it, but we'll see if I'm smart enough to figure it out. Ooh. What's up, Canis? Technically, the fire was extinguished by automatic system, yeah. But I mean, the events are close enough in sequence so as to be functionally simultaneous. So, what I'm thinking is, somewhere in this window of time right here, this must be where culprit abducts Nagito. No, I don't think the culprit can have abducted Nagito because he even made a video saying this is where he was gonna be. Maybe this points to Fuyuhiko. Maybe Fuyuhiko found the bombs. And watched the video and knew Nagito was gonna be here by himself. I don't think that really tracks, though. I'm gonna put a pin in my timeline. I'm gonna try to figure out the mechanics of the murder first, I think. We don't know how he died. A faint red line on the ceiling girder inside the goods warehouse. This right here is what I think is going to be a really important point. I think the blood on the girder lines up with the spear of Gungnir. I'm seeing if there's blood on the cord, and someone is like hoisting it like a lever or like a pulley. then that trails the blood in a straight line on the girder. That's the only reason I could think that there would be a straight line of blood on the girder. So what leads to somebody doing that? God, this track is good. God, this soundtrack is so good. Spear impaled through Nagito's stomach. Cord with an iron weight back extends from the back of the handle. For some reason, only the section where the cord and weight touch is bloody. So I don't know that the weight itself was used as a weapon. It doesn't really appear that he was bludgeoned. We don't have any bludgeoning signs in the Monokuma file, at least. So was the weight used as like a counterbalance? And if that's the case, then that kind of makes sense with the hanging it like this. So how does hanging a spear from a girder do anything? This case is widely considered as the best one in the trilogy. That's encouraging to hear. I thought a lot of the cases in the first game were quite fun, and fun to solve. I don't necessarily think difficulty is indicative of quality when it comes to murder mystery. I think that you can have very simple murder mysteries that are still satisfying to puzzle through. I think you can have very complex murder mysteries that are very exciting to get a light bulb aha moment. And then, conversely, I think you can have very, very easy and disappointing obvious murder mysteries, and then you can have very, very esoteric and completely batshit insane murder mysteries that are impossible for any average viewer to figure out, and those aren't fun either. Alright, let's keep moving on. I want to take a look at the computer. That's my number one thing right now. That reminds me, when we saw Nagito's video message on this laptop, is he still watching us from somewhere? If he's not, then how did he time his messages so perfectly? No, it looks like the video was set to play after the explosion by a wireless signal from the detonator. But why did he have to use a video message? That's the one thing I don't get. I'm gonna make a note of that. At the time, Nagito should have already been killed, which means that the video was recorded in advance. No, that's wrong, Hajime. We made note of the fact that the engine ran out of gas early. It was not yet noon. I mean, he probably was not in a position to record the video. That's for certain, but I don't think he was dead by the time the video played, according to the Monokuma file. That's right, beside that video there might be data on this laptop that could be used as a clue. With that thought in mind, I tried messing around with the laptop, but it's no use, it's locked. There's no way I can examine this. But if it's locked, then maybe there really is something inside. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Apparently the bombs that were stuffed on this truck were actually fireworks, which reminds me, the truck looks like it came from the military base. Nagito must have brought it here. Other than that, there's nothing in particular that catches my eye. And I can't check the, no, I can't. Okay, Sonia, what do you have to say? I have never seen so many Monokumas in my life. Well, Monokuma isn't exactly someone you would normally run into.
However...
While I was staring at all these Monokumas, a thought occurred to me.
Well?
The bomb that went off in the lobby might have been set up here. Huh? Explain.
Do you have a minute?
If you hide the bomb inside a Monokuma plushie, it would make a frightening weapon. Do you not think the group that is forcing us to kill each other would devise something like that?
Amazing!
A plushie bomb is an act of terrorism.
All right!
Let us rip these apart right away so we can confirm it. Hold on. If there was a bomb inside these, wouldn't it explode if we carelessly messed with it?
Easy as pie!
Either way, it is all gravy. All gravy? What the hell does that mean?
Enough already.
Stop! There's no bomb!
Hey,
You'll know if you just pick me up, see? All you'll feel is the soft weight of cotton.
I see.
You are right.
However...
Then where did Nagito obtain the bomb he used?
Who knows?
I wonder. If I'm gonna give you guys a hint, then you should know it wasn't from the military base. Okay. I wonder if it could have been Monami's special thing.
What?
To tell you the truth, the bombs there are all fakes.
Please wait.
I know that already. You should have said so earlier.
No.
Well, I thought if I kept quiet, it would foreshadow that a killing was gonna happen. That's why I'm just now telling you for the first time. Phew, I feel relieved. Okay. Monokuma says that revealing the bombs as a fake would also reveal that a killing was going to happen. Does this have to do with the thing that he was saying before about a game? No, this was something he said at the, at Sea King Industries. No, so I don't think that those two things are tied. Okay. My personal issue with 2-4 from the mystery side is that there's really only one suspect and you just solve that puzzle setup backward from the answer. That is kind of how I approached it as well. Like, before the murder was even revealed, the moment that... Oh no, I think the murder had already been revealed. But even so, the moment that Gundam stepped out into that lobby with the phone, that was the instant that I was like, all right, it's Gundam. I didn't want it to be. I wanted to believe there was another explanation, but like, that was just immediately clear. And so that definitely influenced the way I thought about it. My other gripe with 2-4, however, is the murder was incredibly contrived. And I don't mean that like, oh, the way that the murder was executed was contrived. I mean that the whole setup was done in such a way that that is the only way a murder could have been pulled off in this setting. There is no other way that you could have had a murder mystery happen except to happen in the way that it did. Whereas like here, when we walked into the 5th island, it's like, okay, we've got this military base that's loaded up with weapons. We've got this factory that's making mono beasts and human robots. We've got this ramen street that's completely empty. We've got the spears that are just revealed in the 4th island, you know, secret room. We've got a lot of stuff, a lot of ingredients that are being thrown together, and we don't really know how they're gonna work together. We've got the bombs then setting up where like, now suddenly everyone has reason to be split apart because of the threat of Nagito being a wild card, and it's like I couldn't really have anticipated the way that this was gonna go. Whereas like chapter 4, I was like, okay, so someone's gonna turn up dead inside the tower and there's gonna be some bizarre locked room puzzle. So I'm liking this a whole lot better so far. But if the bomb wasn't from the military base or this factory, then he brought it from the Octagon.
Well,
I must say, you have a good eye there, Sonia. Putting a bomb inside one of my plushies seemed like a splendid idea. Let's try it!
That is...
Did I say something I should not have said? It's not your fault, don't worry about it. Monokuma's account has a truth bullet, I love it. Monokuma knew all along the bombs were fake, however, he apparently never revealed that fact to anyone.
Alright, so can we find out any information about... No. Because I have in my notes that someone tampered with the fire extinguishing equipment. I think specifically it was that somebody remembered there being more of it. I found the fun box very memorable for how to solve how convoluted it was. Also, the moments of Chiaki and Hajime and Nagito were great moments. Oh yes, the trial itself was very entertaining, and I had a lot of fun with that. And the actual figuring out of the mechanics of the puzzle were fun. I really, really, really liked figuring out like how the tower worked and like going through the diagrams and everything. That was lots of fun. It's just from an explicit murder mystery standpoint, that's where my my complaints stem from. I think as a murder mystery, judging it by that metric, I don't think it succeeds as well as some other ones in the series do. With that said, I have yet to encounter a murder mystery in this that left me completely disappointed. Yeah, the first chapter of Danganronpa 1 was like literally immediately obvious, but it still had some twists and surprises for me because the culprit is one thing. Solving who the murderer was, that was instant. But I was still surprised during the trial once it came to light, like what Sayaka was doing. Damn it! This dangerous place is the reason all this messed up stuff is happening.
Hey!
Leaving guns out in the open is totally dangerous. Seriously, they gotta take better care of these. It's easy to say that, but there's no one on this island who can do that. So let's take a look at the truck. Ah, found it! What did you find? Well, that truck bed over there has guns in it, but I also found stuff like a survival knife? Wait, that's... Isn't that the same type of knife that was stabbed through Nagito's right hand?
Maybe...
Which means the killer obtained that knife here.
All right!
So the killer is someone who visited this military base at least once. That's everyone, though. No, not me. This is the first time I've been here. That sounds fishy. Swimsuit mystery, I would also put 2-3 here. Fish tank, yeah. Well, that one's kind of a meta mystery. Like, it wasn't really the mystery, it was kind of a mystery within a mystery. Like, I don't consider that the mystery of Chapter 3. Was that Chapter 3? No, that was Chapter 2, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Chapter 2.
Hey!
What else is going to be relevant for me here? The tank? If the bombs were fake, this might be fake too, but I'm not brave enough to check for myself. This truck? Oh, okay, got it. When I first came here, there was something on the truck bed, which means Sonia was telling the truth.
However...
And as I suspected, the bombs had disappeared. I thoroughly searched for them inside the military base, yada yada yada. But did Nagito know the bombs weren't real? It's possible he thought they were the real thing. No, never mind, he said as much in his video message. So, were you surprised? Seriously, think about it. Do you really think there are enough bombs to blow up an entire island? Even if there were, a guy like me would never be able to use them. He knew the bombs were fake. He only did what he did to weed out the traitor. No, is that really it? Did Nagito only do that to expose the traitor? Maybe there was a different motive behind his actions. Now I think I can leave. Yeah. I'm gonna go check Sea King Enterprises. I don't think there's gonna be any value to it. Oh? Hello? Oh, did she die? Aw, whoops. I want to get High Despair, but I don't want it to die. Yeah, I don't see anything that has any value here. Given how much attention the video game case had in the trial, it could be considered the main mystery of 2-2. Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's a valid criticism. I don't think there's gonna be anything in Ramen Land either, but I'm gonna check. Give everyone a seizure as soon as I load in every single time. Okay, nah, nothing here. I want to go to Nagito's room first. I keep forgetting that there's a fast travel feature. I didn't use the fast travel feature at all in the first game, but that was because I liked the immersion of navigating through the school, whereas in this game, the side-scrolling thing just isn't immersive. Like, I don't really connect in the same way, so I don't mind using fast travel. Sup, Chiaki? I'm annoyed. What happened? I'm annoyed. What are you annoyed about? I want to investigate Nagito's cottage, but I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. I don't really understand, but you can't investigate Nagito's cottage? Maybe I should try investigating. Let me in. Let me in! Huh? It's locked. Apparently. We can't go inside thanks to that. I'm annoyed. There's nothing I can do. I'm gonna investigate another area. What are you gonna do? I'll go look for Monokuma. He might open it for us.
Yep.
Then let me know when we can go inside. Yeah, I got it. Okay, cool. I want to check if there's any indication of, like, a struggle in the restaurant. Probably not, but... okay. Nah, nothing. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to wait on my most anticipated research spot. So where else do I need to go? Nezumi Castle? Oh, I think I'm going... you know what? I think it's like halfway around. Yeah, this island really just didn't have a whole lot, did it? Okay, so we are missing a spear, to nobody's surprise.
Yo,
Look at that wall of spears. I guess it's obvious where the weapon came from. So what I'm thinking right now is that somebody must have come in here after Nagito and gotten the spear, which means somebody else would have seen this plaque. Does it make sense for Nagito to scratch this up? Yeah, probably, actually, if that's where he hid the bombs. And then he took them out. A spear with flashy ornaments on it is hanging from the wall. The spear is definitely it, right?
I see.
Just as I thought, it looks exactly like the spear that killed Nagito. The same whip-like cord is attached to the handle, and there's a weight at the end of it.
Also,
Plus, it looks like one of the spears on the wall is missing. There's no mistaking it. The killer took one of the spears and used it as a weapon. Spear of Gungnir, huh? Monokuma would totally come up with a lame name like that. But why did the killer use a spear and a knife?
well, yeah.
Yeah, they could have just killed him with the knife. And it would have been easier too, pardon me. There's no way a spear like this with the unnecessary cord thing on it would be easy to use. Yeah, it definitely looks hard to wield. But still, they chose this spear for a reason. What reason could that be? I feel tired. No matter how much I investigate, I don't feel any closer to the truth. That's probably why I feel this way. I'm feeling this strange feeling I've never felt before. As if Nagito is trying to make us suffer even after he's died. Well, now's not the time to think about stupid things like that. I haven't even investigated his cottage yet. It's too early to start complaining. If we investigate that place, we might be able to find some kind of clue. Alright, let's go. We're coming up on the end of the investigation phase, my friends, and I am not synthesizing this information. I am not figuring things out yet. Maybe we're gonna get some big aha moment in his room. But like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, am I lost. This is gonna take some serious sitting down, looking at each piece of evidence, and really scrutinizing how it could possibly work. Okay, Chiaki.
Hajime.
What's this?
Oh my, you want to go inside Nagito's room too?
What are you gonna do?
I was just listening to Chiaki's request. She wants me to unlock the door to Nagito's cottage because she really needs it for the class trial. She begged me to do it while she was licking my black eye. I didn't do that.
Boy!
Then do it! It's sweet because it's made out of black bean paste.
Hey, we don't have time to mess around. Hurry up and unlock the damn door.
Fine, fine.
I guess I have no choice. I just gotta do that, right?
Now then. Loose! Bye-bye!
See? I've opened the door. You can freely investigate now.
This isn't my first time seeing that, but why does the door open with a spell like that?
Perhaps.
Maybe the cottage key is computerized.
Hey.
More importantly, let's go inside now that the door is open.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the security system is already flawed. We know that. Let me take the notes away so we can see what's going on in here. Well, that would be Manami's special thing. So, Nagito was living here. What was he thinking inside this room? What was he feeling as he spent his days here? I can't even imagine. Wanting to see absolute hope. Becoming despair so he could act as a stepping stone for the rest of us. No matter how much I think about it, I just don't understand him at all. I don't even know if he truly believed that. He was especially weird these past few days. What changed him? Maybe the clue to that might be hidden here as well. Haha! There you are! I've been waiting for that since chapter 1. Never mind, I've been waiting for that since chapter 5. There's still one on the first island that I haven't found. There's a refrigerator.
Huh?
Nice. My cottage doesn't even have a refrigerator. I wonder where he got it from.
Nagito probably supplied it himself.
Why would he go to the trouble of putting a refrigerator in his room? Does he really enjoy cold drinks?
As I talked with Chiaki, I opened the refrigerator out of curiosity. Well, I was not expecting the refrigerator to actually hold relevant details, to be honest. Okay. Monokuma's special poison for poisoning use only. There really isn't much inside. The only thing inside the refrigerator was a brown bottle.
For someone who likes cold drinks, it doesn't look like he stocked very much. But that bottle clearly isn't a drink, right?
Really? It looks like some kind of dietary supplement to me. Protein powder, maybe? I took the brown bottle out of the fridge and started reading the label. Exclusively made for poisoning someone to death. Alright.
Hey, this is...
B?
Yeah, looks like it's poison. Poison? Looks like there's a warning label on the back. Let's examine it in a little more detail. But be careful with that bottle. Don't drop it. Stop it. If you worry like that, I'm gonna get nervous. I grabbed the bottle with my trembling hand and began reading the warning label on the back of the bottle. Poison made specifically for killing someone. It's Monokuma's special poison. This enchanted liquid. Alright, here we go. This enchanted liquid is highly potent and takes effect immediately. Please handle with care. Oh, still have more. So its volatility is low. This liquid, aha, is very dangerous when vaporized. There we go. In a gaseous state, it is heavier than air. It breaks down in minutes and is susceptible to hydrolysis. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. There's that light bulb that we were talking about. So it is possible for you to poison someone to death without any complications. Keep this liquid secure by storing it in a cool place in a glass or plastic container away from sunlight. Hey. This sure does look like a chemical made solely for poisoning someone to death. This refrigerator must be here to keep the poison secure. But where did Nagito get something like this?
Well,
That question could apply to the bomb that he used at the hotel, too. Probably from inside Hope's Peak Academy, I would think.
see?
There should be a reason why Nagito was able to obtain such dangerous items. The octagon inside the funhouse. The poison, he must have brought it with him from there too, right?
Perhaps.
He was probably hiding them somewhere on his body during the last class trial. Okay, maybe we're just gonna go with the octagon thing then. He was hiding a bomb and poison during the class trial? Geez, how dangerous. What would he have done if he had accidentally tripped and broke the bottle? Just thinking about it scares me.
Hey.
Also, he already blew up the bomb he took with him at the lobby. But what about this poison? Huh?
See?
It looks like the bottle is less than half empty. Was it like this from the beginning? Or did Nagito use it? If so, where did he use it? I wonder, is there still a trap somewhere that hasn't been sprung yet? Another trap?
Perhaps.
For example, maybe he was making some kind of trap using this poison before he died. If that actually exists, it'd be real bad. It could potentially kill everyone on the island. Everyone on the island? What the hell? Nagito, are you still trying to make us suffer? Are you trying to make us suffer even after you've died? Alright, so I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to say this without actually confirming it, but hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is a common form of chemical reaction where water is mostly used to break down the chemical bonds that exist between a particular substance, meaning it reacts when when water is introduced to it. So what we're getting out of this is it was vaporized. Leave that.
It was vaporized, so it existed in a gaseous state, probably in the warehouse. It was heavier than air and breaks down in minutes and is susceptible to hydrolysis. So basically, this gas was lingering on the ground, lit on fire because of the lighter, vaporized. Then, when the sprinklers happened, it went through hydrolysis. And so this is the actual cause of death for Nagito. That's where I'm getting this. Now, this also probably answers why we have the rope, or the cord rather, held suspended over the girder, because the gas is heavier than air. And so if they want Nagito alive for any particular reason, if Nagito is being kept alive and we have the weight counterbalancing him, if he is like impaled on this thing and held up, then he is alive but suffering. Until he lowers to the ground where the gas is and dies to the poison. I'm interested in these horses. There's a lot of books arranged here. Did Nagito bring these from the library? In addition to books, there's a bunch of random crap stuffed on the shelf.
It might take a lot of time for us to thoroughly go through that stuff.
Hey.
Let's just leave it for later.
No, actually, I feel like if he still has the files from Hope's Peak Academy, that's probably pretty important still. It's the bed that comes with the cottages. It looks just like the one in my room, but...
Hey.
Maybe there's something hidden under his bed. It's a usual place for hiding things.
yeah, like porn. Thanks, Hajime, for that insightful idea. Maybe that's what's gonna crack the case. Maybe Nagito's just a degenerate, and he's hiding all of his ill-gotten gains from the rest of the group. With no expectations and without thinking, I peeked under the bed and... There's something here. It's a plastic bag from the supermarket. It looks like there's something inside. What is this?
It looks like a gas mask and rubber gloves.
Alright, so... under Nagito's bed, a gas mask and rubber gloves.
These look like the real deal. Did he get these from the military base?
A gas mask and rubber gloves. He was hiding these under his bed. What did Nagito use this stuff for?
Hajime.
Was there anything else under the bed?
Let's see. I peeked under the bed once again and started looking around the area where I found the supermarket bag, and there's a small piece of paper on the floor. A piece of paper made of blue aluminum.
A round, thin piece of aluminum, huh?
Just so that the audience at home can see what the aluminum circle looks like. It looks like roughly the size of a penny or a coin. It's got the same like relative thickness at least. Who's dead? Welcome to the channel, it's Ricky. We are in the middle of chapter 5, and our victim this time around, spoilers 3, 2, 1, is Nagito. Which I kind of suspected he was going to be the victim, but definitely not in the way it played out. Alright, so... also, a round, thin piece of blue aluminum.
It's similar to those seals that go over the jars of unopened mayonnaise.
I get what you're saying, but does that mean that this is just a piece of trash?
Wait.
Who knows?
Ricky with the follow! Thank you very much for the follow, Ricky. Welcome. It might be too soon to decide that. Piece of blue paper. I want to review the text on the piece of blue paper's truth bullet. That is... Oh, Tay? Yes! I'm doing so good, guys. I'm doing so good. I haven't been doing as much of the practice. I've been doing it daily, but I haven't been, like, sitting and really committing, like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day like I used to. But I'm doing better. I'm doing better. And I think I've got my hiragana almost entirely down. That is Ma. I remember Ma because I failed to get Ma on stream a couple streams ago, and I got it right. Alright. It doesn't give me any detail. It's just a round, thin piece of aluminum. Alright, interesting. Anything in the shower room? Didn't think so. Does Chiaki have anything to say?
Our time for investigating is winding down.
So...
The bookshelf might take some time to investigate, so we should try examining some other areas first.
Well, I think that's just about everything that matters here. The only thing left is this giant, sparkly pink treasure box, but surely there's nothing important there, right? Oh my god, it actually is important. A fancy-looking treasure box covered in sparkling pink lights is totally standing out. Ah, could this be?
Can you let me know if you find my treasure? It's a magnificent treasure box covered in sparkling pink lights.
So yeah, let's just go ahead and start by making a note of that. Manami's treasure box was in Nagito's room, on the table. Chiaki, you know about this?
Yep.
It's really cute.
Oh, she was just reacting. This looks like Manami's stolen treasure box. If this is here, that means the thief who Manami was talking about was Nagito. But why would Nagito steal this? In order to find out, it might be good to see what's inside.
Hold it.
Is it gonna be okay? It looks a little dangerous.
It might be, but this could be some kind of clue, you know? If this wasn't important, Nagito wouldn't have stolen it from Manami in the first place. I turned back toward the treasure box and cautiously opened the lid. Usami General Purpose Notebook. This is it? Why is a notebook inside this treasure box like it's something important? I took the notebook out of the treasure box and began leafing through it. Who is that? Okay, this is very important, I think. Okay, so I'm going to take the notes away so you guys can see this. And once again, I'm going to big boy zoom in on this. Because I might just be tripping, but neither of these characters looks remotely familiar to me. That's Byakuya, obviously, and we see Byakuya became the, I don't know, leader. Everyone's tired. Something of things happen. Oh, that's Hajime? Oh, I guess that's Hajime. That must be, Peko Peko, I guess. Yeah, I guess that is Hajime. Oh, is that Chiaki? Ah, okay. Okay, never mind then. This is still important, though. I was able to talk to everyone for the first time today, it says. I'm so sorry for all of the jerky visuals. It contains sloppy drawings as if they were drawn by children and entries that looked like chicken scratch. Day 1, I was able to talk to everyone for the first time today. Monokuma showed up and things turned bad. Let's put the notes back up because I'm just gonna take down every single line that's in this book because I don't know if I'm gonna get to see them again. Day 1, I was able to talk to everyone first time today. Monokuma showed up and things turned bad. Day 2. Byakuya is the leader. A lot of things happened today, so everyone's tired. What is this, a diary?
Looks like it. Did Monami write these?
Probably. These pictures and entries totally suit her. I kept flipping through the pages. Day 3, day 4, day 5, page after page of poorly written entries continued on in the notebook. I don't really understand, but it looks like there aren't any clues here. And right when I was about to give up, my hand suddenly stopped on an entry entitled Day 16. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to the very beginning. 21 days remaining was the beginning of chapter 1. So this puts us at roughly 3 days ago from today. Day 16. We've been in the fun house for 3 days. Everyone's hungry and on edge. So that the audience at home can see these beautiful drawings. Yeah, that's a lot more clearly Hajime. Hajime in front of the final dead room door. Hajime tried to go in the final bedroom day. He's probably panicking because no one believes him? The only time I remember Hajime trying to go into the final dead room was when Chiaki stopped him from doing so. He was going to, and then Chiaki was like, hey, don't do that. He's probably panicking because no one believes him. What does that mean? I don't remember any time where Hajime was worried about not being believed. Huh?
Hey,
Hajime, did something happen?
Oh, it's nothing.
Hey, stop! Don't look at my notebook!
Whoa. From out of nowhere, Monami suddenly appeared and took the notebook out of my hand.
I won't forgive you.
I did ask you to look for my treasure box, but I never said you were allowed to peek inside. Geez, that was close. If I had come any later, he would have seen the inside of the notebook. Unfortunately, you were a little late.
Huh?
But if this notebook is here, and Nagito was the thief?
No!
Betrayal! I was betrayed by my beloved student.
Hey.
Hey, that notebook. It's pretty much your diary, right? Diary? It seems that way.
Ta-da!
That's right. This is my important diary where all my maiden secrets are written.
Hey!
Hey, you're a liar!
You always show up out of nowhere.
Monami, it's not good to lie, you know.
Lie?
There's no way you wrote in that notebook. After all, Monami can't even write.
Huh?
What are you saying? Geez, I can write letters easily. I can finally write the letter B.
That's wrong!
No, you can't, 'cause you have no fingers on your hands.
See? Bullseye. I know, 'cause I'm the same way too.
What?
Huh? Are you mad? Are you angry that I exposed a weakling like you?
Hey!
So that's what this is about. You're seriously trying to crush me.
What are you saying?
There's no way a big brother would ever crush his little sister.
It looks like the time to settle things between us is getting closer every second.
Hey, I don't know why you're getting so serious, but is what Monokuma said true?
Huh?
He said you didn't write in that notebook. Is that true? If so, who wrote in it?
Well, you know, it's, how should I put it?
Bye-bye.
Excuse me.
Hold on. Damn it, she totally ran away again.
Yep.
The same pattern as usual. Looks like it's a waste of time to try to get answers from her.
But still, I really want to ask her about that notebook. Well, actually, it might be better that I didn't ask her. Monami's notebook. Oh, there it is.
So,
Am I done? I'm missing something. But what am I missing? Not the television, it's not any of the plants. I mean, I'll try the monitor and the surveillance camera, but I don't think either of those is going to be meaningful. Nope. Try the bookshelf again, since I've got everything else. The genres and types of item are all so random, I can't make any sense of them whatsoever.
well,
They say a shelf is a mirror that reflects a person's heart.
Do they now?
I definitely don't know much about Nagito just by looking at this.
So what should we do? It'd be really difficult to look through all these piles.
That doesn't mean we should ignore it, though.
yep.
I'll leave it to you then, Hajime.
Wait, what?
It's better if a boy goes through another boy's things. You know, there might be private stuff here. Like porn.
Well, that might be true, but
So I'll leave this shelf to you.
I think I just got persuaded to do this without realizing it. I sighed and walked toward the shelf. One by one, I started removing the various books and items and examining each one, but even as I examined them carefully, there were still a bunch of random books and items. There's no way there are any clues here. Huh? There we go, that's the item I was looking for. That's a typo. Hajime is not the person who said this line. This was Nagito. You know, I forgot about John Strawberry's up on the wall here. That is a part of the mystery that I want to remember. I feel like it was purposeful putting his portrait there. So I'm gonna try to remember that when the time comes to start really tackling the overarching mystery. Well, anyway, Nagito is the person who said, "Well, that file wasn't the only one I received from Monokuma." Man's name is John Strawberries? Yeah, the inventor of the strawberry. That's why his portrait was framed on Strawberry Castle. This is another one. That seal. Indeed. It's the school badge of Hope's Peak Academy. Cheers, Door.
Does that have information about our stolen memories?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any clues about that. This file doesn't contain our information, just Hajime's information. Nagito said this only contained information about me, but is that really true? If I look at this, it should be obvious, right? And he said I was from the reserve department and had no talent whatsoever. That might be another one of his lies, too. I opened the file I held in my hand to confirm that. Instantly, I realized something was strange. Oh boy, here we go, come on. Exposition, baby. If this had only my information, then why is this file so thick? As soon as I opened it, it was clear to me. Just as I thought, Nagito had lied to me. Aside from my information, there was information about the others. Kazuichi, Fuyuhiko, Akane and Sonia, and everyone who died. Had pages of information about them too. The file contained information on all 16 of us. Only my information, my ass. I can't believe he'd make up such a strange lie. The more the game has gone on, the more I've come to like Hajime. He's still a kind of bland, you know, white bread main character, but he does have some personality, especially as contrasted with Naegi. Like, Hajime is way more forceful, he's got a shorter fuse, he's got a lot less patience, and he's also a little bit more crude. I like that. The second Danganronpa is a big improvement for. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I am enjoying myself very much. This case in particular is definitely shaping up to be my favorite of the game. I think so far I would say my favorite case of the ones I've completed is probably Chapter 3, which is unfortunate because it also saw the death of my favorite character. But you win some, you lose some. So that means the rest of it might be a lie too. I turned to the page containing my information and began reading through the content. The profile contained basic information such as my date of birth, my height and weight, and so forth. But there was one thing that specifically caught my eye. Pardon me. I'm just gonna preemptively pull this up. The words reserve course student. There was no denying it. It confirmed that I truly was a reserve course student from the reserve department. Alright. Why is this the only thing that isn't a lie? Why? Why am I the only one here who's from the reserve department? Why? Why am I here with all the other ultimates?
Hey.
Hajime, did something happen? Well, I just found a strange file. Isn't that the special prize Nagito received when he cleared the final dead room? As I recall, your student profile should be in there. It's not just my profile. Profiles of everyone on this island are in here too. You like Rock and Roll Girl? Yeah, oh, she was my favorite. She was so fun. Like, there was not a time that she was on screen that I was not smiling and laughing, you know? Nagito was lying.
Huh?
When you say everyone, do you mean everyone? Yeah, it's just basic information, but there should be profiles for all 16 of us. Can I take a look at that file? Chiaki leaned against me and peered into the file.
You're right. My profile is really in here. But unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any details.
Details?
Details about our missing memories. Information about the time we spent at Hope's Peak Academy. If it's not written in there, these profiles might have been written before we entered the academy.
And it's impossible to obtain new clues from them.
Yeah, seems like it.
Oh, hold on.
Huh?
What happened? I just noticed it right now, but...
The file. His name isn't in there, right?
Byakuya's?
There's supposed to be 16 names worth of profiles, but his name is the only one missing, right?
What are you talking about?
Byakuya culprit theory is still alive, Hajime.
Byakuya. I'm talking about Byakuya Togame.
So obviously, I'm gonna put the bit aside for a minute, and obviously this is pointing towards the wider conspiracy about like why Byakuya is here and what's going on with the previous students of the game. However, more importantly, we're gonna bring the bit back. Byakuya culprit theory is back on board, baby! Even killing the character is not enough to kill this theory.
Look carefully. No matter where I look, I don't see his name anywhere.
No way!
Are you taking notes? Am I taking notes? Am I taking notes? Have I been taking notes this whole time? Yes, I have. I do keep it just chronologic. I'm not really editing any of the things that I've written before. for the most part, so as things develop, I just write them into new. I like doing that because it's kind of fun to go back and review the notes and be like, with the knowledge of hindsight, being able to see like, what did I think? Like here, what are my first impressions of some of these characters? Nagito was Kirigiri 2.0. I had no meaningful impressions of Kazuichi. Gundam smokes 12 packs a day and is the master of the 4 Dark Devas. Mikan is a crybaby, shy, and lacks confidence, and is klutz. At first I thought Ibuki might have been one of Sayaka's bandmates, but no, that's not true. Saionji's an actual sadist. Akane's literally just Hina again. Yeah, and then we got some of Akane's backstory, which, like, Jesus Christ. Actually, literally Byakuya. Yeah, just some of these first impressions are fun. Also, Lugia loading her quote bullets. Oh yeah, Lugia loves the quote bullets.
So what if a name isn't written in that file? Perhaps, based on that, you think he might be the traitor?
No, it's not just because his name isn't written in here. That's not the only reason I think he's suspicious. He participated in the killing school life at Hope's Peak Academy, right? For someone like him to be in a similar situation on this island, no matter what, it's definitely suspicious.
Well, it pains me to say this, but what you're saying about the missing name and the killing school life,
Too bad.
it's totally wrong! There's a completely different reason.
A different reason?
You're getting all riled up.
How should I put this? You guys have been getting all worked up about that Byakuya for no reason.
Which means
the great mystery you think surrounds that Byakuya doesn't exist. You're basing it on one person's cheap speculation.
what do you mean?
What the heck?
You don't have to ask me that. You'd know the answer just by looking through those profiles, right?
What was the exact verbiage here? All right. My eyes turned back to the file. One by one, I started flipping through the pages and confirming the names. And suddenly, I came across a page that was filled with question marks. Oh joy. That was what I wanted. More question marks. More questions with no answers in sight. The ultimate imposter. Just to make it clear for you guys back home, there are no accolades. Every section was filled with question marks. It could barely be considered a student profile. Now we're getting somewhere as far as the overarching mystery is concerned. On that page, I was only able to confirm one thing. Ultimate imposter?
That's that Byakuya's true identity.
Okay, well that maybe starts to make sense, but I don't trust it. You know what, actually? I take it back. I absolutely trust it. I 100% believe that Monokuma is telling me the truth, and I believe that because it's convenient for me to do so, because that means Byakuya culprit theory actually has a legitimate chance of being correct 60 plus hours of gameplay later. True identity?
He was a fake that was pretending to be the ultimate affluent progeny, Byakuya Togami. A fake?
Hey,
The fact that his profile is filled with question marks isn't a mistake or an oversight. surprisingly enough, that's the correct information regarding him. The ultimate imposter has no name, no permanent address, and even his age and gender is unknown. Basically, he doesn't exist. Because he doesn't exist, he's able to exist as anybody. That's his talent! Though I'm not jealous of that at all. That person wasn't really Byakuya Togami?
Perhaps.
Is that why he was so much fatter compared to when he was involved in the killing school life?
So cool!
His physique doesn't affect his ability to fool others at all. Real imposters are skilled like that. And then he was lying to us the whole time?
But still.
But he couldn't help it. What? What couldn't he help?
Oh.
As that was his talent. Huh? Well, having talent means you're also bound to that talent. The moment you obtain talent, your way of life has already been chosen for you.
Well, this is a bit of a deterministic outlook, isn't it, Chiaki?
You can't do anything else except rely on that talent. Regardless of whether you want that life or not. In that sense, compared to the other ultimates, your life might be a bit more liberating.
Oh, my favorite time of day, the time when Lugia sends me something. It's a screenshot of Akane saying that, he was saying that his chapter's already finished, so it would complicate the game. In regards to Byakuya. Chiaki is cursed to never touch grass. You and me both, Chiaki. You and me both.
Anyway,
I'm not happy that you guys fell for a scam that I had nothing to do with.
that's right!
So I'll tell you straight up, this revelation about Byakuya is exactly the truth.
Then, what was he trying to say to me at that time? That is actually something I was about to ask, this little private conversation. I cannot talk to others about my past. I suspect that my skeptical nature is partly to blame. Distrusting others and being distrusted in return. For a long time, my life has been a living hell. You know, I suppose in the context of what Chiaki just said with his talent being the ultimate imposter, that does actually make sense, him saying distrusting others and being distrusted in return. If you have no permanent identity and you are constantly assuming a different persona, if you have lived a life that warrants being given the title the ultimate imposter, I can see how this would actually make sense outside of the context of being literally Byakuya.
Based on the context, if I had to guess,
No!
maybe he was just complaining that he was cursed to wander the earth as nothing more than a fraud. But if you guys had your school memories, you never would have been betrayed in the first place. I mean, it'd be different if you were meeting him for the first time. But since you guys went to Hope's Peak Academy, you should have known about the ultimate imposter already.
So in the end, it all leads back to memory loss.
Phew!
Impressive that the imposter knew Byakuya got character development from the previous game. I mean, there's still a tie-in to the previous game that matters here. Even if Byakuya was not the genuine Byakuya, then that does not necessarily absolve the plot overall from having very, very distinct and necessary tie-ins to the first game. Obviously, someone on this island is privy to the information about what happened in the killing school life.
Geez, the Future Foundation sure is awful. There's no way you should ignore Monami or the traitor.
Who is it? Who's the traitor? Just from looking at these 16 profiles, I still wouldn't know who's from the Future Foundation. Is there really someone like that?
Of course!
Well, obviously you wouldn't know. I made that file so you guys couldn't find out.
Could it be?
So it's just as I thought. You're the one who did it.
Hey,
The fact that there are 16 profiles in there is what's wrong. I mean, the traitor is a spy sent by the Future Foundation, not a student from Hope's Peak Academy.
Okay. So we're getting some more explicit confirmations about some stuff that we already assumed here. You made a fake profile for the traitor and included it in here?
Correct.
It wouldn't be fun if you figured out who the traitor was so easily, right?
Hey.
Then we can't use this file to figure out who the traitor is. That was true for Nagito too, right?
Well, probably.
What is the text on this truth bullet? Oh my god, I have to advance a screen. Okay. Nothing very illuminating there.
It's dripping with despair, isn't it? You wasted your precious time on something that isn't a clue.
Are you sure about
Was that a
this?
wise decision? Time's up, you know.
Time's up, wait.
Bye.
Excuse me for a moment.
We all know where this is going. That chime just now.
What is most important for living things? Well, personally, I think time is. I mean, your bank account may go up and down, but time will inevitably run out, right? That's why we gotta cherish time. There is nothing more wasteful than wasting time. So, time's up. We will begin the last class trial. So please gather at Monokuma Rock. I'll see you soon.
The last class trial, you say? The last class trial? He said that, right? He said last class trial.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard it too. He really did say it was the last class trial.
What do you think? Should we believe him?
Monokuma seemed anxious about the Monokuma timer earlier, right? 2 more days? And he said something about the killing school trip ending, right?
Based on the time limit, this might definitely be the last one.
But still.
But I can't imagine that it's the real end.
Huh?
I think Monokuma's real plan might be just beyond that.
His real plan? Is Monokuma still planning to make us do something? What could it be? Maybe after putting us through all this, he's planning to kill the remaining survivors all at once.
Well,
But still, it's also not a good idea to think about it too much. I think we should focus on the class trial that's waiting for us first.
You're right. A class trial for Nagito's murder. We're pretty screwed. I haven't collected my thoughts because we were so focused on this file. I still can't see who killed Nagito.
but still.
Well, you don't have to worry so much.
Huh?
Right?
I mean, we're not fighting this alone, you know?
You're right. You're absolutely right. We're not alone. Even if it's a mystery that can't be solved alone. As long as everyone cooperates and works together. Yeah, if we do that, things will turn out fine. Oh boy, guys. I think I'm cooked. I do not think that we're gonna puzzle this one out. I'm gonna have an opportunity to review all of my stuff, and I think this is gonna be that opportunity. I think we'll just take a pause before we continue with the dialogue,
right.
and we'll review our evidence, because I like to follow tradition, and I laid my tradition out in Danganronpa 1, which was before I click on the red door, before I enter the room that leads to the class trial is where I start putting out my theories. So that would be now, before we go through Monokuma Rocks. So there's a lot going on here, man. Yo, what's up, Senpapi? Good to see you. I have bad news. I have bad news for your predictive powers, but yes. This is really shaping up to be a great murder mystery. So, the victim is Nagito Komaeda. His body was found inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are also multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. Notably, the cause of death is not noted. The time of death, however, is. Both of Nagito's legs were tied with rope, and each rope was tied to nearby pillars, which prevented him from moving. His thighs were also covered with a lot of stab wounds. The rope that was tied into Nagito's right arm burned off. However, Nagito's right sleeve still looked clean. A survival knife that was stabbed into Nagito's right hand. The knife is from the military base. It's safe to assume the wounds on Nagito's legs and arm were also caused by this knife, which means that he was stabbed repeatedly in the legs, slashed on his left arm, and then stabbed through the right hand at the end. What a gruesome way to die. Oh yeah, this is, I think, the grisliest death that we've gotten in the game, or in the series even. I think that Leon's execution was really hard for me to watch. It was very grounded relative to the rest of the executions. And I kind of miss that. I feel like the executions have gotten a little too wacky. Because there was a certain level of like, in the first game, I always kind of had to watch the executions like this. Like I wanted to watch, but also I was really like upset by them. And part of that is because they were a little bit more grounded. Like, they felt a little more horror-esque to me. Like, I felt much more... I don't know how to put this into words. I could imagine myself being the victim of this kind of violence, and that was upsetting. Whereas, like, the stampede, or like the thousands of soldiers stabbing people, or even the Monokuma butter, was like, those were a little bit more crazy, and so they lose a certain off-putting quality that I actually really enjoy. Whereas like getting bludgeoned to death by a bunch of baseballs just tied to a post and shot repeatedly with blunt objects, but not ones that are like, you know, you're not getting shot and bleeding out and dying. You are just repeatedly pelted by baseballs. You're just feeling your skin break, your bones crack and shatter. Like, that's harsh, man. Or the Crusher in Chapter 6. The anticipation of feeling that get ever closer as the conveyor belt inches backward with each smash. Like, that's frightening on a visceral level, and I miss that. Oh yeah, the weirdest execution was Mondo's by far. I don't remember how Celeste's execution went. Oh, she was burned. Yeah, that's another one. Burning at the stake. Like, that's so much less fantastical and less wacky. And I kind of like that feeling of like, I am frightened. I am a little scared. I feel something in my stomach, you know? Just a little nauseous. Anyway, blood that was spattered on the palm of Nagito's left hand. For some reason, the splatter cuts off in the middle of his palm. Also, the back of his left hand has an unnatural blood stain that's only above the middle joint of his fingers. Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape. However, the blood that was spattered onto his face wasn't under the duct tape. The tape itself had a lot of crinkles in it, as if Nagito was desperately moving his mouth underneath. The Spear of Gungnir. The spear impaled through Nagito's stomach. A cord with an iron weight at the end of it extends from the back of the handle. For some reason, the only section where the cord and weight touch is bloody. Or only the section where the cord and weight touch is bloody. A life-size Monokuma plushie that was found on the floor near the fire's origin point. There's a huge bloody hole in its stomach as if it was stabbed. Faint red line was on the ceiling girder inside the goods warehouse. A lot of tipped-over Monokuma panels were scattered around the goods warehouse. In one area, the panels seemed to be laying on top of each other in a straight, orderly line. Found the fire's origin point. It looks like this is what caused the fire. An MP3 player that comes with speakers. The music that was blaring throughout the warehouse when Hajime and the others arrived was coming from this. Sonya secretly used one of the bombs from the military base at the ancient ruins and found out the bombs were fake. At that time, Monami was apparently peeking at the whole thing. Monokuma knew all along the bombs were fake, however, he never revealed the effect to anybody. the diary that Monami updated every day, or did she? According to Monokuma, Monami can't write. Mask and gloves hidden at Nagito's cottage under his bed. What on earth is this? Piece of blue paper found at Nagito's cottage under his bed. It's a round, thin piece of aluminum paper. Poison found inside the refrigerator at Nagito's cottage. So these two things could be tied together. Because she mentioned the mayonnaise top, right? So I'm wondering if the mayonnaise topper is actually an apt comparison, and this was like peeled off of the special poison bottle. Poison found inside the refrigerator at Nagito's cottage. The warning label on the back of the bottle states, "This enchanted liquid is highly potent and takes effect immediately. Please handle with care. Though its volatility is low, this liquid is very dangerous when vaporized. In a gaseous state, it is heavier than air, breaks down in minutes, and is susceptible to hydrolysis, so it is possible for you to poison someone to death without any complications. Keep this liquid secure by storing it in a cool place or plastic container away from sunlight." And finally, the Hope's Peak Academy file. This file contains Hope's Peak Academy student profiles for all 16 students participating in the school trip. Due to the fact that Monokuma forged the traitor's profile, looking at this won't help us identify who the traitor is. What's going on here, guys? Boy, this is tough. Typically when I get these, and once I start looking at this, I have starting points. I have things that really jump out to me and feel like springboards that I can use to start gluing the pieces in place. I don't think I've got any of those, man. I'm gonna take a quick break here, I think. We're gonna run to the restroom. I'm gonna refill up on water. I don't think I'm gonna stream for too terribly much longer, but I want to sit down and really digest some of this stuff and put together some sort of theory before I call it a night. Don't stop thinking, furniture. Yep. That is a very apt saying from one of my other favorite visual novels. I highly recommend Umineko if you have not ever heard of it or read it. It is an excellent, excellent, excellent piece of media. I can't say too much more than that. So yeah, we're gonna take a pause here. I'm gonna run to the restroom, fill up on water, maybe grab a little snack, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we're gonna start theorizing. We're gonna start just throwing some spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. So I'll see you on the other side. Hello, everybody. All right, I had a little snack, got some water. I am fueled up and ready to instantly solve this mystery. Yes, so, hey Tigrissa, welcome. Or Tigrissia, sorry. Yeah, we just finished the investigation, and we are going through my annual pre-trial speculation phase. So, let's start with the things that I am most confident about. I am fairly well convinced that the MP3 player was used to muffle any sound of Nagito screaming. You know, even while he's got the duct tape on his mouth, you could probably hear it, and so the music was probably there just to cover that. Can you show me pictures of the following evidence? Nagito's bloody hand, the spear, and the ceiling girder. Yeah, so here's the general torture wounds. Here's the burned rope. Survival knife stabbed through his right hand. Blood on his left hand. So what it seems to be indicating here is that he was gripping something like this. And so when blood splattered, it got here, but it did not get here. So it got like on this. And then the ceiling girder is there like that. Oh, and then the cord, yeah, there's the spear of Gungnir. Someone tell me why this T is weird. I don't know that I would ever notice this, except there's two T's back to back right here, and this one on the left is clearly thinner than the one on the right. Like they just messed up the font or something. Anyway, I'm sure that's a clue. So, yeah, I'm pretty well confident about the MP3 player. So it definitely seems like the trial is going to start working in the direction of integrating the overall mystery into the murder mystery. And that poses some complications because the overall mystery has to do with the Future Foundation, has to do with the traitor and what they want. And we don't know what the Future Foundation wants, and so it's kind of hard to ascribe a motive to the culprit, assuming the culprit and the traitor are one and the same in this instance. Okay, so details that matter for my prediction. Nagito's left hand was bloody, but the palm of his hand was strangely clean of blood. The cord is tied to the end of the spear, and while the cord is clean of blood, there does happen to be some blood on it at one spot at the other end. There's a vertical line of blood on one of the ceiling girders, yeah. So I'm tying these things together in my head as well. It's just the actual... It's the everything that surrounds this pulley system. It's the why and the what then. So, we are to believe that Monami did not write this, which means that someone else in the class did. I don't know how this helps me, though. Obviously, Nagito was preparing to use the special poison for something. So I want to define my terms as far as the poison goes. What do we mean in terms of volatility? How does it vaporize? So I guess the vaporization process, I guess we're to assume that at regular atmospheric pressure and at regular room temperature, that the poison is a liquid, and that when it's heated, it vaporizes. And so I guess probably the fire would have to be triggered to cause the gas to vaporize. Or to cause the liquid to vaporize into a gas. And then, of course, it breaks down in minutes and is susceptible to hydrolysis. So that would actually start to make sense with why the fire equipment had been tampered with, because the killer would have known that they need time for the fire to build in order to vaporize the poison, and for the sprinkler system to wash away the evidence. So that's making sense to me. So the culprit definitely had to have had this stuff arranged pretty well in advance. The culprit... Problem is, how did this get into Nagito's possession? And how does it go from being in Nagito's possession to Nagito dying as a result of it? I'm wondering if the... Did Hajime and Chiaki not conclude that he got the poison from the Octagon? Yeah, they did. That sounds fake to me, to be honest. First of all, that's not a truth bullet. So I can't take that at face value. But genuinely, okay, so let me backtrack. I do think that that is probably correct. I think that that's probably the answer, is that he just got it from the Octagon and then hid it on him during the trial. However, were I the author, this seems like a very good opportunity to say no. He explicitly already had access to the ancient ruins, which I am currently under the impression is Hope's Peak Academy from the first game. And if that is the case, then being able to get inside means you have access to the third floor's, or the fourth floor's, like, chemistry lab, which is where you have access to poisons in similar little brown bottles that match this one. You've also got the, like, tech lab on the 5th floor that I'm sure you could find bombs at. So that's kind of where I go with this. Now, on a more in canon story level, yeah, I guess it makes sense that he got it from the Octagon. So I'm wondering right now if the reason for all of the stabs was to expose his bloodstream so that he would die to the poison. The problem is, I don't know to what end killing him with the poison and doing all this rigmarole with the poison actually matters, because we find him basically immediately later. And I don't know what the meaning here is. Oh, read Senpapi's predictions, okay. Okay. The bloodied part of the cord was held in Nagito's hand. That was what he was holding. The cord was put around the ceiling girder at the spot where blood was on it. Nagito's hand got blood on it. He then let go of the cord for whatever reason. The cord that now has blood on it went past the ceiling girder and left blood there. The spear then impaled him. I don't know why the weight was there. So yeah, that is something that I was thinking as well. Originally I had said perhaps there was something about like him being impaled and suspended there, but I think that is that was me misreading the situation. I do think that, you know, the cord had to have been wrapped around here at some point and was bloodied. I just do not know what the point of this poison is. Which kind of starts making me think, now we have to lean back into the sliding scale of Nagito's culpability in this. Because all of my speculation so far has been Nagito's at 0%. If we say 100%, then that's saying that Nagito arranged this whole thing himself and committed suicide in this very, very elaborate and absolutely contrived way, which I don't think we can agree to. I think the evidence just points to this being way, way, way too specific for him to have done this to himself, and I don't really see there being much of a motive for him to do so, honestly. Especially given his behavior immediately before that. So I don't think we can put him at 100% culpability. So this is where I lean on 50% to 75%, where I think he was intending to do something, and he was intending to use the poison himself for some purpose. He was intending to kill somebody. And it got turned around on him, and he ended up a victim where he did not intend to be a victim. So if that's the case, then we have to think about the messages that he left. He very deliberately drew people toward Factory. And once the Factory was accessed, then the fireworks go off. Once the fireworks go off, the second video message plays, where he goes, "Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna work. Anyway, come and meet me in the warehouse." Why would he do that? I wish I could review the exact dialogue that he said. Like, why did he invite them into the warehouse? Under what pretext did he invite them into the warehouse? But I do not remember that detail, so it is lost forever. Where was his body found? His body was found in the warehouse of the 5th island, so right next to where the plushie factory is. Speaking of plushies, what is the deal with the Monokuma plushie? So this is a piece of evidence, and there are a couple of these, which start to make me think that this might end up being a Danganronpa 1 situation, where the murderer is not Hajime, Soda, Fuyuhiko, Akane, Chiaki, or Sonya, where everyone who appears to be innocent and appears to have an alibi is actually just innocent and has an alibi, and something else is going on. Because this fire should have done a lot of damage. It should have burned over to Nagito's clothes in his hands. It should have burned this plushie. These Monokuma panels didn't really matter too much. But why didn't it? Why is this Monokuma plushie completely fine? Unless someone moved it there after the fact, after the water had gone, and after the fire had gone out. And that's hard to justify, but at the same time, there was a period of time in between the water coming down and us actually accessing the warehouse. So there is a window of time for the crime scene to be manipulated before we get the opportunity to examine it. The fallen Monokuma cutouts, yes. My current speculation is that the Monokuma cutouts were propped up against the door in a domino fashion, and when the door was opened, they all one by one fell over, knocked one another over, and then at the end of it was the lighter, which was lit, and that caused it to fall and hit the curtain, and that's what started the fire. So that's my theory about that. I want to go back to the actual murder itself. The blood on the girder, spear. So I have to think about the mechanics of how this works. Let's say I have this pair of scissors here because it's thinner than my dice. So let's say that he's holding on to the spear, the cord of the spear with his left hand. All right? He's laying on the ground, why not? But he's laying on the ground, And the cord of the spear goes up and around the girder and down this way. And so the point of the spear is just suspended above his stomach. All right? And he has to maintain a grip on this, and if he ever lets it go, then the spear falls and impales him. Maybe this is what's happening while he is being tortured. And that is why the splatter is here on his knuckles, but not on the backside of his hand, or on the palm. That is why there's the bare section of... You can kind of see it right here, the cord. And that also permits the blood to actually get on him. So he's holding this while he's being stabbed, while his arm is being slashed. Probably holds on to this until the poison takes hold, I would imagine. And then when he lets go, the thing falls and stabs him. So if that's the case, then he's sitting here getting tortured for a hot minute. He's been here, he's been tied up and at the mercy of whoever is in the room for a while. But I have no actual alibis, so everyone is a suspect in the timeline. Well, frankly, given the evidence, I don't know that I can actually pick out who did anything as of yet. I can only pick out the sequence of events and the why, perhaps. But I don't think I can actually pick out who did what. Just because there's no evidence that points to any particular person in just about anything at all. Now, the gas mask and gloves being in his possession again indicates that he was planning to use the poison for something else. Him stealing Monami's notebook also possibly indicates that he did actually know who the traitor is. So where's this plushie come in, man? I still think that my pillow idea kinda makes sense for how this hole would get there, but not the actual... It doesn't really actually fit into my current hypothesis. Killer tested Gungnyeon plushie before Nagito, of course. Specifically, it's the blood, though. This is hard. This is I think the most stumped I have ever been. I feel like there is a tendency, most of the account truth bullets tend to not really be super meaningful in the long run. They tend to kind of just be like this is how we're going to establish certain basic facts about the case. However, we can establish that Sonia knew that the bombs were fake. We can establish that Monami knew that the bombs were fake. If we assume that the person controlling Monami is the traitor and is one of these students, then that person actually has free reign. They don't need to search for the island for the bombs. They can just do whatever they want. They could even... When does Nagito record his things? Probably in the morning, probably before anything starts, really. So I don't think I can logic my way out of that one. I do kind of wonder if this whole setup and the whole torture thing is going to end up being a lot more thematic than actually, like, plot progressive. Like, I'm wondering if this is going to end up being like a, here's your hope to survive is holding on to this thing, because as soon as you let it go, then it falls and you die. So if you want hope, then don't let go while I torture you. I just don't know how Nagito ends up in this position. Like, how does Nagito end up tied and incapacitated? He was clearly conscious for the actual torture part. So I wonder maybe if the culprit... No. I'm so flummoxed right now, y'all. This is hard. This is the hardest case that we have had, I think. Like, even before the episode 5 trial in Danganronpa 1, yeah, I got it wrong, but, like, I had a theory. Everything that I look at just raises questions. Like, I can't even begin to fit together what Nagito was doing here. So let's go ahead and just think about the fire. I think it's pretty clear that the fire was started when the door opened, and that was the trigger for it. So that means that the killer needed the fire to start remotely, and for that to be when the body of Nagito is discovered. So what that makes me think is that the killer is doing that to establish their alibi. They're saying, you know, here, Nagito died while everybody was together, so it's impossible to find the culprit, and that helps. So that does kind of indicate that one of the surviving students is the culprit in this particular case. So, how does the culprit set up the room? Probably with Nagito's help. I wonder if the culprit might have gone to Nagito when everyone's split off and everyone's exploring different islands. If the culprit went to Nagito and said, "It's me, I am the traitor," and then Nagito was like, "Cool, you want me to help you?" And then Nagito started doing Nagito things. And then in the course of that, Nagito reveals that he's got this poison. He reveals that he's got this like hidden setup in the back of the warehouse. And then they start concocting a plan. The dagger was in his right hand. Yes, the dagger is stabbed through his right palm. But would Nagito side with traitor? Nagito would side with whoever advances the cause of hope. And maybe the traitor's hope is greater than the survivor's hopes. So let's just follow this string of thought. So while everyone else is searching for bombs, Nagito and the culprit set up the room. They concoct the plan, they set the room up, and then the culprit leaves. Nagito, from the inside, barricades the door with the Monokuma stands and sets the... Nah, Nagito wouldn't... There's no way that this situation happens with Nagito deliberately ending up dead. His facial expression, the screaming, it just doesn't make sense. Not to mention the logistics of having himself tied up. So I have to just discount this theory completely out of hand. Still, somehow, the culprit knew about and arranged for the poison. Alright, so let's tackle this from a different angle then. What I'm wondering then is, let's say that the culprit needed a way to make this fire look convincing. And so they set up this barricade and would have had to escape from the room by some other means. I don't think we're aware of any other entrance or exit. The burnt rope seems key here. The burnt rope, I think, is fake. I don't know that that rope was ever tied to anything. Then he's not really tied down if it's fake. Well, I mean, the problem is, if his left hand is bound by rope, then he can't use his left hand to stab his right hand into the ground. But if his right hand is stabbed into the ground, then he can't use it to tie his left wrist. So there's no way for him himself to put himself into this position. He had to have been put into this position by somebody else. Yeah, his legs are tied to the pillars. His left hand is also tied to a pillar. The right hand is burned. Is it stabbed into the ground? That's how I interpreted it. It might not be stabbed into the ground. It might just be stabbed through, actually. His right sleeve is clean, despite his right hand being stabbed. Which would make sense if his hand is already here and someone just stabs it through. Like, you're not really gonna get that much on the sleeve. Especially if you just leave the knife in, that's gonna staunch a lot of the bleeding. Show the stabbed plushie again. This is so perplexing. What is the point of the plushie? Why is it near the fire's origin point but not burned? How did this blood get on it? The blood we have to assume is Nagito's. Plushie has a shield, like you said? Yes, and I still like that, but then why does it end up where it does, and without any damage to it, apart from the obvious? I guess perhaps we could say that the, how I'm assuming that this works is the poison is kind of spread on the ground, and then once it gets, you know, near, or like maybe it is spread on the back side of the curtain, and then once the curtain lights on fire, that's what vaporizes it, and it also prevents the fire from spreading backwards. So if I assume that that is the case, then the things behind the curtain not being burned isn't really too big a problem. That still doesn't really speak to the purpose of the plushie. I'm gonna find it funny if Senpapi comes to an answer because he's using paint the one time that Vent isn't. Thing is, this is hard, is what it is. I don't see paint being useful for me necessarily. I've got a mental image of this pulley system, and that's really the only thing that I think needs imagery. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this and stop when I see something that I'm confident about. I'm confident about the reason why the blood is the way it is here. I'm confident what the duct tape is signifying to us. I'm pretty confident about what the blood on the girder is about. Panels and the lighter, I'm pretty confident that the panels were used with the lighter at the end as a Rube Goldberg machine to light the curtain on fire. The MP3 player, I'm pretty confident, was playing to muffle any screams that Nagito might have been making. Whoever's controlling Monami, whoever the traitor is, knows that the bombs are fake and therefore knows that searching the island for the bombs does not matter. And so that they can actually spend that time setting up a murder. Monokuma knew all along the bombs were fake, however he apparently never revealed the fact to anybody. I think that's just going to be used to shoot down somebody assuming that Monokuma shared the information. I don't think this really matters too much. Monami's notebook, the diary that Monami updated every day, or did she? According to Monokuma, Monami can't write. What we mean from this is that since Monami can't write, it must have been somebody with hands and fingers that did write in it. And it must have been somebody who was alive at least through chapter 4. Well, somebody who was alive, not necessarily someone that we know to have been alive. Senpapi sending me things. Wow. You did a much better job with this than I would have, to be honest. But, no, Senpapi actually did a pretty good job of illustrating very similar to what I was thinking. This is what Senpapi sent me. I like you using the 6-pointed star for the hair. And a cross for the knife. But yeah, this pretty well illustrates what I'm seeing. I don't know about it being never tied and burnt from the start, though. That's what's in question here. I'd like to be able to go back and review. I'm assuming that there's another pillar in the bottom left corner, but I can't find that out now. Yeah, he does also have a slash on his left forearm. Honestly, this is really well made. I'm proud of you, Senpapi. Anyway, so someone who was alive during Chapter 4 was writing in the notebook and keeping it in Monami's treasure box in Monami's place. Now, Monami has her room broken into, and this is stolen. And then it shows up in Nagito's room. We take this to mean that Nagito is the one who stole the thing. That seems to make sense. So Nagito steals this and starts to figure out who the culprit is, or who the traitor is? Maybe? That still doesn't get me anywhere. I'm gonna give myself another like 6 minutes. And I think I've got to wrap it up. And I might just be wrapping this up with, I've got no idea. I might take some extreme measures. I don't know when my next stream is going to be. Might be Tuesday, might be Thursday. Whatever day it is, I think in between then and now, I am going to get a piece of paper and actually start just writing down all of my theories on paper. When I get really into murder mystery, that's what I do, and I have like my own... It works for my brain, my own organization method that kind of helps me organize my thoughts, and I might just start writing and see where it takes me. That's what I did for a lot of Umineko. Not that I nailed Umineko's mystery, but as it stands right now, man, guys, I got nothing. I have no central theory. I have bits and pieces, but who, how, and why? Gosh, I don't know. So I think what we'll do is just continue this, this story, make it to the autosave, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Just gonna pump out Code Vein streams in the coming weeks so that I can get through Umineko. Hell yes, absolutely yes. Unfortunately, my work does not afford me the opportunity to watch you while I'm at work as much anymore, but if that, you know, does spring up, I'll do everything I can to catch your streams. Looks like everyone is here.
Huh?
Huh? Is this it? Shouldn't there be more people?
Damn it.
Stop it. You're making me depressed.
Stupid fool!
So, it is going to happen again. The cruel conflict where we must doubt our friends.
But once we're through this, we can go back, right?
That's right!
That Monokuma bastard said so, didn't he? This is the last trial.
Damn it.
But we've been tricked every step of the way. There's no way I can believe that so easily.
Of course not!
Why can't you believe it? The guy who's making us do all this is the one saying it, you know?
You know, right?
That's why I'll definitely survive. If we can really go home after we deal with this class trial,
That's right!
I'll definitely find out who the killer is no matter what, even if I have to pull out all the stops. One thing that I have to remark on that this chapter is doing a whole lot better than previous chapters is in previous chapters there have definitely been times where like certain characters stand out for their lack of participation in the investigation phase, or in the way they engage with the class trial, see Gundam. And that makes it kind of easy to pick them out because all they do is kind of misdirect, obfuscate. I don't really see that being the case here. Everyone seems to be acting really well within character, and there's no one that I can really point to and say, gee, why are you saying that? Why are you talking like this? Like, this feels like Kazuichi. Akane feels like Akane. Fuyuhiko feels like Fuyuhiko. Chiaki feels like Chiaki. Sonya feels like Sonya. And Sonya's helping, but like, that doesn't absolve Sonya. Sonya's probably in one of the two most precarious positions as far as I'm concerned. I think she is, as far as I have suspicions of anybody, she is one of the two most suspicious people. But that's a very, very loose suspicion at this point. What the fuck? Why are you here? Actually, one question. How did the fire get put out? So, basically, when the fireworks went off, there was a bomb that was planted, basically, and it turned out that the bomb was fake and it was fireworks, and after the fireworks went off, there was a video from Nagito saying, yeah, that didn't work, did it? Anyway, come to the warehouse and I will reveal who the traitor is. So, everybody leaves and goes to the warehouse, but the warehouse door is jammed. So Akane forces the door open, and then they hear something crackling, and then the fire starts roaring. So they run out to the closet in the factory. Someone remarks that there used to be more fire equipment there. But anyways, they grab the fire grenades and they throw them at the fire. That does not set out the fire. And then a few moments later, the sprinkler system goes off, and the sprinkler system starts putting out the fire. Then Monokuma is like, hey guys, everyone step away for your safety. You can't go in yet. And we're going to do a Monokuma theater. And so then the Monokuma theater plays, time cuts forward to about half an hour later, and then the fire is out and we go and explore. So that's kind of the timeline.
You haven't realized it yet? That feeling of wanting to leave this island. Thinking like that is Monokuma's trap, you know?
Huh?
Huh? What are you saying?
Got it?
There's no way Monokuma will end things here. He's planning something far worse.
Ah, stop trying to jinx us!
I'll beat you up!
Damn right. Stupid rabbit should just shut up.
Everyone, you mustn't run away from despair.
Huh?
I've finally realized, after losing my powers, I've realized that cursing your powerlessness or your fate accomplishes nothing. The possibility may be small, but as long as there's a possibility, you must face it, in order to become someone who can be proud of yourself.
This change in Monami is suspicious.
So I will fight.
Huh?
What's her deal?
I do not really know, but she seems different from before.
Maybe she read a self-help book.
Wait.
But her eyes, she looked so determined.
You...
What can you tell just by looking at those button eyes? Anyway, make sure you turn off Minimaru. It'd be annoying if he started talking during the trial. Aw, fine.
But still.
Somehow I understand what Monami is saying, I think. Anyway, let's get going. To the last class trial.
Yep.
You're right. We need to fight as much as we can. I think that last line was not Chiaki but was Hajime. No matter what hopeless truth awaits us in the end.
Roar! Gonna be really interesting if there is not a chapter 6. This is the end. No, there must be a chapter 6. I kept saying those words to myself over and over within my mind. I entered Monokuma Rock. I forgot that it was inside Mount Monomore.
Yeah.
Is this how these characters were arranged throughout the entire game? That's shocking if that is the case. This elevator ride. This will be the last time for this too, right? I hope so.
Well,
Let's worry about things after we're finished.
you are right.
More importantly, we must focus on the class trial before us.
Damn it.
The killer managed to kill someone like Nagito. There's no way this is going to go smoothly. I mean, I still can't believe one of us was able to do that.
Nagito was problematic in many ways, but he was also a valuable asset during the trials.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, during the Funhouse ordeal, we were completely dependent on him. But even if he's gone, the ones who survived need to stand and fight. We must fight. And then the door slowly opened. What sort of gauche decoration will we have for the class trial this time? This bright light greeted us. Is that the light of hope? Or the light of despair? Giant iPad.
Well now.
Now that that chatterbox Nagito is gone, there are only 6 of you left.
Shut the hell up!
Enough! Just fucking start this already.
Hey!
Hey! This is it, right? This is the last class trial, right?
Yep.
Yup, it sure is. So you gotta show some enthusiasm and make sure you give it your all.
All right!
Didn't I tell you? He said it. This is the end.
Now then.
Let's get this class trial started.
Viva killing!
This is the last class trial. Let's show some enthusiasm and kill each other.
This is the 5th class trial. According to Monokuma, this is also the last class trial. That curtain is about to rise. Nagito Komaeda, the ultimate lucky student. When I first met him, I thought he was a nice guy. He came across very sociable. But his true nature had such a demented thought process that was nothing like his outward appearance. This right here is exactly what I'm talking about with the upsetting feeling that I want more of. Like, this is disturbing. I'm really, really bothered by the way he looks here. It's scary, but not in like a jump scare kind of way, in like a psychological something is not right here, an impending sense of dread and discomfort. And I want more of that both from the games and specifically from the executions. He said he believed in hope more than anything else. He said he was yearning for a powerful hope that can overcome any despair. He said he would even help despair just to prove that hope will never lose to despair. And he said he'd become a stepping stone for hope. His way of thinking was completely screwed up. But there were also times that he saved us too. Someone like him was killed. That was the end of him. And I have no idea at all who did it. But there's no way we can end this without knowing. We will be consumed by despair. That's why we absolutely have to find out. The person who finished off Nagito. The killer who murdered Nagito. In order to return from this despair alive, we need to reach the truth. And if Monokuma says this really is the last class trial, that's all the more reason we need to do this. And so, this life-threatening trial billowing with hope and despair, the last one has begun. Alright. Oh, we've got Senpapi's theory. Alright. My current theory is that Nagito did in fact set up the entire thing himself, just don't know how to explain the dagger in his hand and the plushie. However, I think he might be trying to pull a Pekko and that he didn't plan out a suicide, more of an assist. My theory is that Nagito wasn't dead yet when the fire started, not yet impaled. He called everyone to the warehouse to make sure the Rube Goldberg Monokuma panels would start the fire so that the fire could then kill him, and since he was alive before that, the killer wouldn't be Nagito but whoever opened the door. Though with that theory, the spear impaling him would be a red herring, and a red herring that would take a lot of effort to set up. So I don't think this theory is right, but I suspect it might have some hints of the truth. I also suspect his title of Ultimate Lucky Student to play a part somewhere, just don't know where. I also think his title of Lucky Student is going to pull apart, but I think that it ends up being that He had a plan that did not go according to plan. He wanted to make something happen. He thought it was going to work, and it ended up with him dead. And that is terrible luck. But as a result of that terrible luck, the consequence is that his end goal comes to fruition. The traitor is revealed, and the rest of the students can go forward with hope. That's what I am expecting here. I'm thinking that that's where we go. Because he seems, again, I still think that Nagito is Naegi. The two of them are so intrinsically tied. And I think that their luck mechanic functions the same way. Where, like Naegi, he was the ultimate lucky student, and that manifested by everything possible going wrong. And I think that's where we're at with Nagito right now. So I don't think that he did this himself. I think the other my big point of contradiction with your theory, Senpapi, is Nagito's facial expression and the music. I think that Nagito was genuinely being tortured. I think Nagito was genuinely in agony. And his death was being used by somebody else. I think he was screaming bloody murder while he was being tortured, and I think someone was playing hymnal music to mask it. If something went wrong during his plan, makes sense that it hurt him unexpectedly. Yes, however, having something hurt you unexpectedly, I think, is a different step in the thought process than having an entire setup where you are literally torturing yourself. Where you are, like, stabbing yourself, cutting yourself, whatever. Like, I don't see a plan where he's setting up this weird thing where his legs are tied, his arms are tied, and then something goes wrong and he gets hurt and he's like, oh no, this unforeseeable circumstance where this death trap that I put myself in is causing me to die. Nagito seems like the kind of dude to torture himself for the bit, though. Maybe he did scream from the pain but still stab himself through it, put the music up to hide it, but I do agree that seems unlikely. One could say that whoever did it really hated Nagito. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. And that kind of makes me think that we're leaning more on the theme of the story and on the overarching mystery rather than on an individual murder case, which means I really have to start thinking outside the box and expanding my thinking, because that means that the answer to this is going to intrinsically lie in the details about who the traitor is, what they want, what the Future Foundation wants, what's going on with the ultimate imposter, which of these students is fake. So, I don't know, man. There's a lot to unpack here, but that is where we're wrapping it up for tonight. And I am going to sit down and I am going to rack my brains over what on earth is going on in this chapter. And when I come back to sit down for my next stream, that's either going to be Tuesday or Thursday, probably Thursday. Whether I've got it right or not, whether I've even got an idea or not, we're going to move forward. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you very much to Dor for your resub. Thank you to Apoptosis Waluigi and Ricky for the follows. Thank you everyone just for hanging out and entertaining my crazy ideas. And I'll see you next time. In the meantime, y'all know the drill. Be kind to one another, be kind to yourselves, be safe, and as always, peace out. Night, y'all.